Don't call it no more. Yes, traditional wedding. Every Tuesday on Instagram. Every Tuesday on Facebook. 6 p.m. UK time. Every Tuesday on Facebook. ETO IGBEYAWO. Don't fool me lóye. Yes, traditional wedding. ETO IGBEYAWO. Don't fool me lóye. Yes,
traditional weddings. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí ẹ̀yin tèmi nílé lóko lẹ́yìn odi. Mo kára lé, mo kérò ọ̀nà, mo kọ́kùnrin, mo kóbìnrin, mo kọ́mọdé, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àgbàlagbà wípé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí lórí ètò láwà ètò wa. Ètò yín, ètò kan náà tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí ètò ìgbéyàwó. Let's talk traditional weddings and more with Meettheroyals. Àmọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa lórí ètò yìí kó tó dípò aṣọ òǹkóhùn. Ṣé rí pé yẹ ká júbà ọba kọ́dá ayé, ọba ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀run, ọba lánàá, ọba lẹ́nu, ọba títa ayérayé kọrin kése, ẹlẹ́bùn ìkẹ́, ọba tó tó ní ipa tó kọ̀ tí ò pani tó ṣe pé ṣe ló ń pani mọ́. Ọba alágbára láta dágbére fún lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá pé à ń lọ kábọ̀. Ó tún jẹ́ kó ṣe ṣe fèmí àti yín láti tún wà ń bí lẹ́yìn láyé láyé àti láyé rere. Àwọn fáyọ̀ bí òṣọpẹ́, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òjò ló mà ti rọ̀ tílẹ̀ ti fèmù ṣùgbọ́n dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọba dániwáyé. Ọba tó jẹ́ kójú ṣe fèmí àti yín láti tún rè ní láyé àtàlàáfíà. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa sọ fún wa ní ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀, Olúwabùnmi lèmi jẹ́ aya òṣìbẹ̀rẹ̀ tí gbogbo ayé mọ̀ sí Meettheroyals alága ìdúró alága ìjókòó MC olóòtú ètò ìgbéyàwó with godly swagger. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run pé a tún jẹ́ kó ṣe ṣe fún wa lẹ́yìn láti wà láyé láyé àti láyé rere. Àwọn sọ mo fẹ́ fàsìkò dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ẹni bí ẹni, àwọn èèyàn bí èèyàn, àwọn èjìká tán jẹ́ kẹ́wù ò jábọ́. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn iléeṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ṣagbátẹrù ètò yìí, pàápàá jùlọ ilé-iṣẹ́ wa kan náà tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Jelenke Duchess. Níbi tó ti ń taṣọ ìyàwó, tó ti ń ta tìyá ìyàwó tí bàbá ìyàwó lè fẹ́ ní aṣọ ọmọdé lè fẹ́ aṣọ àgbà, aṣọ ọkùnrin, aṣọ obìnrin. Bí ẹ fẹ́ fi ṣayẹyẹ ni òun kó tó bá fẹ́ ṣe, ẹ fẹ́ fi ṣe ẹ fẹ́ ṣaṣọ ẹbí ni. Abẹ́kọ̀ tí ẹ fẹ́ ra aṣọ tẹ́kọ̀ fẹ́ rà fún ara yín. Aṣọ ìgbàlódé àtàṣọ ìgbàanì ó wà ní ilé-iṣẹ́ Jelenke Duchess. Jelenke Duchess wọ́n máa fi kò sí ibi tẹ́ ti fẹ́ kọ́ bá yín gbẹ̀rù yín wá tí wọ́n ní gbé wá. Ilé-iṣẹ́ Jelenke Duchess ẹ ṣeun, ẹ kú gbogbo ìgbà, a máa rí yín bá. Mo tún fàsìkò náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ iṣẹ́ Celebration International Magazine. Àwọn ni wọ́n yàwòrán tí wọ́n ń bá wa, they do videography, photography, anything you want for your event. Contact the amazing Celebration International Magazine. Ẹ ṣeun ilé-iṣẹ́ Celebration International Magazine, ẹ kú gbogbo ìgbà, ẹ kú àdúrótì. Mo tún wá fẹ́ fàsìkò yìí náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ilé-iṣẹ́ Blanco Concepts. Àwọn náà wọ́n máa ń yàwòrán, kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe, tẹ́ fẹ́ kọ́ bá yín ṣàwòrán níbi ayẹyẹ yín. Videographers, photographers. Blanco Concept, thank you. Blanco Concepts are in Nigeria, they are in the UK, they are also in the US. In fact, they travel, they go for destination events. Then just tell them whatever you want, they will be happy to support and to help you. Thank you, Blanco Concept, for your unending support every week. Ẹ̀yin tèmi mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń darapọ̀ mọ́ lọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun tẹ̀jẹ̀ kọ́rọ̀ mi sùn yín. Mọ́mí Joanne Olùkọ́, ẹ ṣeun gan ni ma. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bukilicious. I can see a few people already here. Please, if you are here, just say hi. Let me know you're there. Thank you, everybody. God bless you for always being here. I'm so grateful for your unending support. Ẹ ṣé ẹ kú gbogbo ìgbà, màmá rí yín bá àjọṣe wa ò ní bàjẹ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa sọ fún wa lọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, I need a favor from you. The favor I need from you is I need to let people know that the show has started. Some people may not even, they may have forgotten or they are not aware that the show has started. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá wa ké sáwọn èèyàn. Ẹ bá wa sọ fún wọn pé ètò ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ètò ìgbéyàwó ti wà lórí afẹ́fẹ́. Please remind people. Many people will say, "Oh, I really missed last week's episode. It's so painful." Blah blah blah. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá wa sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wípé ètò ìgbéyàwó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Please help us to remind people that the show has started. Ètò ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, ètò ìgbéyàwó ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ẹ bá wa sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wípé ètò ìgbéyàwó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Okay, today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. Today's topic is a very special one, and it's something that is so universal. Sometimes we come on this show to come and talk about maybe just Nigerian traditional weddings. Sometimes we talk about Yoruba traditional weddings. Sometimes we talk about some things that has to do with Nigeria, but this one is global. It's universal. And that's why I really want you to tell as many people as possible to join me. Please, the show has started. Tell people to join the show. Tell people to join the show. I need as many people as possible here. And please, tonight, if you're online, join the conversation. Some people are in the background. Somebody was telling me last week, said, I was there. I was hearing everything you guys were talking about. I said, why you need to just say something? Let me know you are there. If you're here, please always say something. Tap, tap, tap. Let people know that the show has started. say something. Let me know you're here. Send me invite to join the show. I would like to bring you on board so that we can hear your opinion. Just say hi, say something. A lot of people telling me they're in the background. I was there, I heard you, I saw the discussion. I'm like, how do we know that you're there if you don't say anything? Okay, people, what are we talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about parenting the old school way versus the new way of parenting. That's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, hello, sir. Thank you for saying hello. Please, people, say hello if you're here. Invite people to join this show. Honestly, tonight there's a lot for us to talk about, a lot for us to learn. Okay, particularly tonight we're going to be talking about the old strict way of parenting and the new style of parenting that people call gentle parenting. Some people call it gentle parenting. In our days, our parents they taught us certain ways. There were certain things that our parents did to us in our days that hey, if you try it nowadays, hey, funny, So that's what we're going to be talking about. Anyway, don't let me let the cat out of the bag. First of all, let's talk about the old ways of parenting. What can we remember about the old ways of parenting? How our parents raised us, the way. And you know that sometimes I see some things online. My mama some online by. Maybe somebody was born and brought on, in certain parts of the world where I've never even been to in my life. Then when they are talking about what their mom or their dad used to do when they were young, I'll be wondering, did you live in my house? Because this is too similar. Hey, yeah, God bless you, ma. Hello, ma'am. God bless you, ma. So in our own days, there were certain ways our parents raised us. There were certain things our parents did to us. There were certain things that our parents, and sometimes when you see people that grew up in your generation, maybe you were born in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, you now just be talking somewhere, talking about how your parents raised you, what our parents did. The way my daddy did this, the way my father did it, the way my mother did this. Then when somebody else from another part of the world, and maybe even from Ghana, they will just be talking, be like, are we living in the same house? How come? How is it that it's so similar? Why is it that everything is so similar? Now, let's talk about some of the things that we can remember from our childhood in terms of parenting, how our parents raised us. What are those things that that is very common? Just bring it up. Let's have this conversation before we even go into the new generation parenting. There are certain things that we talk about. Only people from our generation will understand it. Somebody will say, Indomie generation can never understand this. Gen Zs cannot never understand it. So I just want us to have a conversation. Let's even remind ourselves. Let's bring some memories back about the way we were raised. The way we were raised in our own days. That is, if you would think it's only happening in your house, but you will realize that it's almost universal. Everybody, everybody's talking about the same thing. They're like, you may happen in your house as well. You may your parents did that as well. So let's talk about it, people. Let's bring it on board. What can you remember back in the days? The days that we were growing up. Okay, maybe somebody said, okay. Thank you, Yahoo Baba. She said beautiful. Lotu. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, I think I will probably just kickstart this conversation. Back in the days when we were growing up, if you do something wrong, the way our parents raised us, anybody in the neighborhood can discipline you. Anybody at all. Anybody can discipline you. They can, smack you. They can tear you off. They can, in fact, they will even beat yourself. You will not be able to go home and tell your parents that, daddy so and so smacked me, or mommy so and so did this to me. He will just my money, because, for example, if that kind of thing happened to you, let's take it on from here. For example, maybe I happen to do something wrong, and somebody like my daddy's age or somebody, probably they don't even know me, and they discipline me from outside. When I get home and tell my parents that, mommy, can you imagine? I did this so, and I know that what I did is quite wrong. And this daddy on so number, can you call on this street, beat me. And I tell my parents, reply as a Nigerian parent back in the days. If I suddenly get home as a child and I say, Mommy, can you believe it? This Baba on that street beat me up for doing this. And I know that what I've done is wrong. Not that I did something right or I didn't do anything. I do something wrong. And maybe I didn't go to school. Maybe I was a trance. Maybe I refused to go to school. Maybe I'm supposed to have been in school at 8:30 or 8 a.m. and I'm still roaming about at 10. And then one Baba on the street saw me and give me the beating of my life. And so yeah, before I open my eyes, get to your school now, immediately. And I now had the gut to get home and tell my parents and say, Mommy, can you believe it? Because I was roaming the street at 11 a.m. This Baba on number 4, Ladipo Street, he beat me up and sent me to school. What do you think will be the response of Nigerian parents? Okay, say that again, ma. I want you to reply as Nigerian parents back in the days.
Just brought back beautiful memories, honestly.
Thank you.
One father brought you from home or beat you, you came home. Oh,
they not born you well.
They not born you well. And if you try it,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
Either your mommy or your daddy will give you backhand slap.
And
will say, no, I do.
Thank God for Baba Lagbaja.
And they will now call. Hold on, sorry, Uncle.
It's okay, ma. If you're just joining us tonight, for those that are wondering what we're talking about tonight we are talking about parenting back in the days versus parenting today. You know, how our parents raised us, especially children that were born in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I was born in the 70s. Some people on this show, they are born in the 60s. Some are probably born earlier. But, you know, back in the days, anytime from the 80s backward, you know, the way our parents raised us versus how we are raising our children nowadays. And my first question is, for example, I've given an example. I said, for example, for instance, I'm supposed to be in school at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and I refuse to go to school, and I'm roaming the streets as a child born in the 70s and or in the 80s, and I'm roaming the streets, and then one elderly man saw me on the street at about 11 a.m. when I'm supposed to be in school at 8 a.m. and he asked me, what are you doing? Why are you roaming on the street with your school uniform? Why are you not in school? And then the man not get hold of me and beat the living daylight out of me. And I now have the gut to get home and inform my parents and say, Mommy, can you believe it? 11 o'clock, I was just going on the street. I didn't go to school. I was roaming the street. And this Baba on number 4, Ladipo Street, she saw me and he gave me the beating of my life. I said, reply as a Nigerian parent or as an African parent. Reply. I want you to respond to that. If that was your child and your child gets home and says that, why would you reply? Please feel free to send me an invite to join the conversation. If you want to come in, please send an invite, join the conversation. And if you cannot join, maybe you're busy or somewhere you don't want your face on, you can also send me or you can respond by typing something. Now, reply as a Nigerian parent or African parent back in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, early 90s. Reply that, okay, my child was roaming the streets. An elderly man on the street saw that child roaming on the street when he's supposed to be at school at 8. He's roaming on the street at 11 a.m., going about, just gallivanting, doing all sort of rubbish. And an elderly man find that child and beat up that child. And then the child gets home and say, Mommy, this person beat me up because I was roaming the streets. How will you reply as an African parent? Thank you so much, ma'am. MC Monai, thank you for joining us. How will you reply the person as a Nigerian or as an African parent? Somebody was talking, I think somebody, she had to attend to something. Thank you, ma'am. How would you reply as an African parent if your child comes home to tell you that back in the days, I'm not talking about nowadays, everybody's gone quiet. People they're not saying anything. I just want to hear your opinion. How would you reply if your child comes home back in the 70s, or you go home as a child and you tell your parents that an elderly person disciplined you for roaming the street at 11 o'clock when you're supposed to be at school at 8 o'clock, how would your parents have replied, or how would reply as an African parent in the 80s, in the 70s, or in the early 90s? Somebody says, your Baba said, I remember what my mom used to do when we were young. She will leave the kitchen with her food, and immediately she gets to the living room, she will call Omo Kombe yen. Lọ bá mi bu omi wá, omi, lọ bá mi bu omi ṣanwó fún mi. You know, you see, these are the kind of thing that we were brought up with. Thank you so much, ma'am. That brought memory. They will not even mention anybody's home for name. That's an example, because the question I asked earlier is, let's talk about some of the things that our parents did when we were growing up, comparing parenting in those days to parenting nowadays, the advantages and the disadvantages. Let's talk about it. Somebody said when they were young, the mom will not call any specific name. She will just say, one child, one of you should just go and get me water, drinking water. As the normal come back for me, and they're not born you well. In fact, if care is not taken, if you are 7 in that place, the 7 of you will get up and go and get water, probably, because you know the implication of you not getting up to go and do that. So that's the kind of the way we were raised up. This is what I'm telling us, to talk about how we were raised up. Now, talking about Mommy Joanna Lucas says all those beatings didn't kill us, but straightened us. All those beatings didn't kill us, but straightened us. Well, we can't do that these days, but we still need to discipline our children. Thank you so much, ma'am. God bless you. We all did morning duties before going to school. Thank you. You know, these are the things that we did back in our days. I'm not talking about morning duty. We're not talking about square duties. We did like thorough manual labors, manual works that we do. You clean the house, you sweep the compound. Some of us will go as early as possible to go and fetch water from the stream or from the tap or somewhere not so close to home. Somebody said, I'm saying, if you report yourself to your parent and say, one man beats me up in that place because I'm roaming the street at 11 o'clock, what will your parents say? Somebody said, your mom will probably say, tonight you will smell yourself. Meaning you are not, that person never beat you. It didn't beat you enough, self. And when they say tonight you will smell yourself, those words, when they say you will smell yourself, somebody said the day I tried it with my kids, no one answered. You brought the style of parenting back in the days of saying, Omo Kombe, you'll just be looking at you. And then when you say, can't you guys hear me? They'll say, but you didn't mention anybody's name. He didn't mention anybody's name. So it's no. I mean, we didn't know you were talking to us. Somebody said, my mom will not scream. She will wait until I am asleep before she pounces on me. Hi. All those late nights, you know, the way my mom would just say it, she will just go. You would think they want to tell you a story. But if you know that you have done something wrong during the day and they tap you in the middle of the night, you know that you are on your own. Let's talk about the kind of disciplines that we had back in the days. We had our parents punish us. We had our parents tell us off. We had our parents do all sorts of things. Let's mention some of the weapon of correction back in the days. Let's mention some of the weapons of corrections back in the days. When I say weapons of corrections, you will all know that I'm talking about weapons. Let's mention them. Every home had a taste of it. Every child that grew up in Africa, we had a taste of those weapons. Let's mention them. Some of the weapons that were used to correct us. Somebody said comparing parenting styles, strict discipline versus modern approaches. That's what we are doing now. Parenting styles, strict discipline versus modern approaches. That is AI actually highlighting what we are talking about tonight. Somebody said the discipline is always in the night. Beating that goes to Harvard. Yes. Koboko, Pankere. Stoning. I didn't experience the story. Okay, with slippers, with rubber slippers. They stone you with rubber slippers. If they try to get you and you try to escape, they will send you rubber slippers. And those rubber slippers, they never miss it. Uma by shani. Oh, yeah, she don't chow. kò sí bó ṣe lè sá kíní yẹn máa bà ẹ́. I don't know how they did it back in the days. So let's talk about other ones. People said omorogun. For those of us that don't know omorogun is the turning stick that we used to do amala. They will give it to you big times, and those are the weapons of corrections back in the days. Pankere, koboko, horsewhip, which is koboko, yes. Atori, yes. Atori is the cane. That one, chai. Please, you can unmute yourself if you want to say anything. God bless you, sir. Welcome on board. It's a pleasure to have you here again tonight. We really appreciate you. Omorogun beating. Belts. Jesus Christ. Belts, back in the days, those are weapons of mass corrections. I will not say mass destructions. And we also have some sort of punishment apart from the corporal discipline, like where they will whip you, they will whip your backside, they will whip it. They do it in different ways. My mom wouldn't wake me up. I would just feel the weight on of her on me. Oh my goodness. Now let's talk about we mentioned all these weapons of mass corrections and all of that. We talk about koboko, we talk about blala, that's the same thing as koboko, is the horsewhip. Also we talked about the slippers, we talk about omorogun, we talk about and then we all have different kinds of slapping before we start mentioning our slaps, the kind of different slaps that we have. Apart from all those weapons, there is one that this hand does. They are all different kinds of slap. My mom wouldn't wake me up. I'll just feel like wait on me. They will tell you to go to do makuru maga. Hey, we're going to come to punishment, but before we come to punishment, let's talk about the next kind of correction, that the one that we say that are all different kinds of slappings that we had using the palm. And somebody said I actually introduced the omorogun here, that if any child misbehave in my house, my second child will run to the kitchen and give me the turning stick, as in, I got one slap one day and I fainted. Can you imagine? So we had abara. Yes, thank you, ma'am. We have igbarun. What is igbarun? With the name, that one is always around this side. There is igbarun, there is a forum, there is igbati, there is 40 oloyi. That was igbaju, depending on where it lands. Iko, we also have iko. We had iko, we had abara, we had igbaju, we had igbarun, we had a forum, we had a 40. Depending on all those things, they are the names of all those what's it called now? All those names that we give this, this slapping. By listening to them, you know where it lands. When we say 40, it is on one side of your ear like that, because 40 means something that lands around your ears. Then we had the barun, which is at the back of your neck or something like that. We had the form, the one that they will give you with a special kind of curving their hands like this. And then we had the ladi. They would give you correct ladi. Then we had iko yes, we had iko. We had backhand. Chai. Especially if your mommy and your daddy wears ring. Imagine me giving somebody backhand with this with this kind of rings on me. We had all sorts, honestly. And we had a fire, yes, where they just give you on your chest like a vium. Then you will suddenly remember everything that you have forgotten. If you are lying, those things, they put the brain back to factory setting. When you are misbehaving, and one of those 40, ifarun, iladi, baya, all those things, when they land on you, it will normally bring the brain back to factory setting. If you were lying before, you will have no choice than to say the truth. Those were weapons of mass corrections back in the days, and most of the time, a lot of people experience this in their homes. I can hardly say there's hardly someone that grew up in Africa, especially if you grew up in Nigeria and the part of the world that I grew up in, that you will not experience this thing. It was weapon of mass corrections. It was, our parents were that strict. And it looked like they all attended the same university or the same, I don't know, maybe they were all in the same WhatsApp group or invisible WhatsApp group where they tell themselves what to do and how to do it because it's so similar. Now, let's talk about the kind of punishment apart from the the beatings, the kobokos, the what abuse. Let's talk about the kind of punishment that we were given back in the days. As in, somebody has mentioned one of them. They will ask you to stoop down. They will ask you to stoop down. They will ask you to move cigar. How many of us know that? Where they will ask you to put your hand through your leg, raise it up, and then you will not be using it to suck your finger like that. It was such one of the most. I don't even know. I don't think I received that more than once or twice all of my life. Somebody said Olomokwa. Do I know that one? I beg that one I need to explain. No, forward dole. Yes, stool down. Yeah. Hey, Mommy Oluyebi, thank you. Kneel down and raise your hands. Those were very common. Where they will ask you to kneel down, raise your hands, and sometimes they will even say face the wall. And then cigar or ball. People call it all different kind of name. They will say you should joko dera. I don't know what is a dera, but that's a joko dera. As in, the name says sit down, sit down comfortably. That's the meaning of the name. But the name is the opposite of, hey, Chef Mrs. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, the name is the opposite of what they were doing to us. When they say Joko Dera, and then you're sitting down, your legs are up. Is that even a Dera? Is that even comfortable? That wasn't comfortable. Knocking on the ground. Yeah. Some of us had something like that. And there's one they will ask you to hold your ears and be jumping. They will ask you to hold your ears and be jumping. You just be jumping with your hands holding your hair like that, and you'll be jumping. Now, there are some of these things that we're talking about that really shaped us as young people and made us the adults that we are today. And before I go into the new generation kind of parenting, I want us to also look at when are we able to draw the line between discipline for love and getting too strict or too brutal or being too hard? How did this thing, frog lift? Frog lift, yes. We did frog jump as well. How did we add all these things back in the days as individuals? How did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? Did it make you feel like, oh, they don't like me, they hate me so much? Or did it make you feel like, I better behave myself, because if I don't behave myself, I'm going to be in trouble? Which one? Did it make you feel like, oh, they are torturing me, they don't like me, they hate me so much? Or did it make you feel like, I better behave myself, I better behave myself, I should never do something wrong because I know I'm going to be in trouble? Somebody said, Olomo Koya is the one you will hold your ears and you go up and down. Okay. We call it koronsho. They say marosho. That's what they call it in my own place. They will say, hold your ears and you'll be going up and down like you're sewing. We used to call it marosho. So some people call it Olomo Koya. Okay. It made us feel accountable and responsible. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Please, I want you to talk about how does it make you feel? All those treatment that they gave us back in the days. How did it make us feel? All those, Igbati, Iladi, Forun, Igbaju, Marosho, Olomokoya, face the wall, raise your hands, stool down, Joko Dera, all those things. How does it make you feel? Somebody said, I can't relate. I said we have a few of us that cannot relate. This is one of them that just joined us. But how about school? Did you find that? Did you find yourself being beaten or punished in school? If you cannot relate from home, does it happen at school? Because all these things that we're talking about as well, in as much as it doesn't happen to some people at home, it does happen to some people in school. Does it happen to you at school, or you never experienced it at all? My father is very clear on what is punishable under his roof. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go on, ma'am.
And to be honest, I cannot really relate. My parents never, none of them ever did a lot to us as kids. But we had one uncle. And my daddy would just send for a push. That man is now in the UK. The man, the amount of it that they won't share with my father could no more know why. I want to see war. You won't go on evil encounter. And that man will use pancare, and it's really happened, to be honest. It could be once in a year. My father would rather lock you up or isolated. But most of these things, I happen to know it because I went to a boarding school. So all of it, let me just say all of it, school, you must experience it. But having said that, this olden days parenting, to be honest, in my own personal opinion, it pays better. Despite our parents didn't do it to us, we were accountable, we were responsible to share anything silly. Why won't your humanity was she? Because you'll be so scared even to fail particular subjects, not to talk of repeating a class. To fail a subject, you'll be so afraid because of that discipline, because of the culture in your house. And ordinarily, because of that discipline. Unlike this gentle parenting, to be honest, and the olden days parenting, most of it's cookie share abuse. One of our kuna. And yes, growing up, becoming parents, we realize that me treat our mommy, but she treats you so to say, she so, but she our mommy want to are they resilient? Can they cope with what we coped with? Got told you our Irene boarding house. Mommy only 1/10 and while commit suicide. Even the most people can commit suicide. You take boarding but I and that she told him one money. Even as Molly, our parents and you liking it and all of that. It didn't make them strong. They don't have this sense of accountability. Whenever you are telling them off as parents, they believe you hate them. They believe you don't want them. Praise, at least you can if you're praising a particular child and not like you only to feel sad.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I do appreciate that. Somebody said I was raised by a single mother, but she was strong as a man. Somebody said my dad never spared us. Somebody said they couldn't really relate, but her dad made a relative to do it, which is something else that I'm going to be looking at. I used to have an uncle that we nicknamed Anoyopa. That uncle, we nicknamed him Anoyopa because whenever he's in the picture like this, he will beat you like you should not survive. So I'm not sure whether to call that good or bad when you cannot. They said "Bami no mommy ko de no lomo," and I said, Chef Macy's, please feel free to unmute if you want to say something to me, ma'am. So sometimes we believe that when it's your parent doing it, they're doing it with the subconscious that yes, I'm disciplining this child, but I don't want it to be too much. But when you allow an outsider that's not whether relative or whoever, nice to because this uncle I'm talking about no your pagidini. He been no man feel no your
No, for me it was good because when we did something silly, I never make mama behave me. At the sound of his name,
every niche about.
The fact that we had that name Sheye, because Uncle Yetobade, he did not only come to beats.
Who owns this one? Who put this one here? Who put that one there?
So
okay. there's always, there is always good to have what my people will call Olubawi. I think we should speak more of English. Some people are living and saying they don't understand what I'm ashamed, come. They don't understand what we are saying, So I think there should be some sort of someone that you should be afraid of, that you should fear, so to speak. They said you're talking about Nolubawi, that person is prone to destruction. If you don't have anybody that you fear, if you don't have anybody that you're afraid of, nobody that maybe your dad does not have she doesn't have the mind of hitting any child, but he has to kind of create this awareness that anybody can do it, even if I cannot do it. And I think in a way, you are right, it may be good. At least you have someone that at the mention of that person's name, it will make you to sit up and behave yourself. Please, people, I would really love to hear your opinion on this conversation. And I would like to hear from Chief Mrs. I think she said that she cannot relate. Most of us could relate, but somebody said she cannot relate because maybe her own parent didn't beat her. And then I think Lucretius was talking about the fact that when she went to boarding school, gbogbo ìyà tí ìyá yẹn fi jẹyàn àwọn senior yẹn gan lásán, let alone the teachers would do the same. So sometimes I don't even know how to feel about that one. So let's move on. When you are scolded, it's different from when you are beaten, as in thoroughly beaten. I remember back in the days in school, they used to have some tall guys to carry us. They would say, "Yeah, Igbe, fun legba mefa, 12 strokes of cane, 20 strokes of cane." Some teachers were so bad that they would be giving us like even 30 strokes of cane. Now, do we call that one discipline or abuse? Oh yeah, everybody, let's what do you think about those teachers back in the days that would we used to have one man, animal bend, and it's true. He will beat you, you will bend. Those teachers or those uncles that goes to the extent of saying, carry this child and everything, they will beat to the point that your uniform will be stuck to your body through blood stain and stuff and what have you. Or some parents that actually do it to the extreme. I know some parents that will not just. I've never had koboko in my life. Never. I have never ever. I don't know what it feels like. I think pankere maybe in school. My parents have never used pankere. I know my parents used to discipline, but not with pankere. They give us the minimal, and then they rather do the punishment that rather than the severe beating. So, and here we are today, and some of us really remember seeing back in the days of my days in secondary school. When it comes to using cane on any child, I'll be the first mama kaburuburu. I don't even have the body for that. I didn't have the stamina, I didn't have the stature for that. So I try as much as possible to be well behaved because I don't want to be in there. But sometimes it even happened from a group when the whole class, they say, "Oh yeah, no, everybody has been making noise." So yeah, everybody has been making noise. So everybody rise up and they start beating the whole class. In fact, maybe they've been asking for something before. They say, "Who did it?" And everybody say, "No, I don't know, not me. If I see cane, I will cow. I will can." That's how bad I was. I don't like cane. I don't feel comfortable, even though I was very, very tough, naughty in some ways. But over in the leg bad day, Mama Sani. So one way or the other, that thing has an effect on us. It has positive and negative effects. And when it is done rightly, it has positive effects. We've been talking about the positive effects. Let's talk about some of the negative effects that this thorough, what we call discipline, strict parenting. Somebody said one of the positive effects is that it makes us who we are today. We behave ourselves, we are careful. A lot of people will have ended up as come out fair work, but because they know what's going to come out of it, they behave themselves. Okay, please let me do some screen recording, man. They will say that they will run away from it once they know that this person I'm going to be disciplined, I'm going to be one family batty for then they will run away from it. I know one guy in my neighborhood that the mom will ask him to kneel down on top of a grater, and then we also use blade to cut his skin. We're talking about the the extreme now. Let's talk about the extreme parenting back in the days. We know that we all grew up with strict parenting. Our parents were strict, they don't tolerate nonsense from us. But imagine the example that I just gave you. Although that guy was stealing, unfair, people will say, and the mom had done everything. Everybody's gone quiet though. Let me hear you. Can you say something to me? And you have to tap, or else this thing is going to go off. Yeah. So this person, the mom now asked him to kneel down on top of grater, on top of grater, and then she used blade. I have to be careful what I mention on this show, live show. She used to use razor to put incisions on his body. They saw Yoruba because some people are leaving because they don't understand what we are saying. They say, sorry, you don't understand, and they left. That's why we are trying to speak English. So I will try and so the mom did that to him to curtail him because Otifema Jawo, he was going out of hand. Eventually he stopped doing that, and the mom felt the strict discipline that stop. So at what point does it get to abuse? When we said, fine, thank God for our parents, thank God that they did not spare us, thank you, ma, for confirming that you're with us, that thank God that they were strict, they don't tolerate nonsense from us, At what point does it get to the abuse? Because
wọ́n ṣe the same nígbà tí àwọn anybody tó bá bí 70 àti 80s. Ìwà wọn kò ṣe the same pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ń hùwà nísìn. Gbogbo ẹbí ló máa kọ́ ọmọ ẹ pé orúkọ rere ó dára ju àbọ̀. Wọ́n bá wọn fẹ́ gbá sí wọn fẹ́ gbá sí. Because àwa wọn fẹ́ gbá lu wa. A dẹ̀ ní ọ̀wọ̀ fáwọn òbí wa tó jẹ́ pé tí ìyá mi bá pè ní tó bá ní nǹkan fún mo máa sáré. Mi ò dẹ̀ lè dúdú mọ́ wọn. Ṣèkọ́ tí mo sọ yìí, ọ̀pọ̀ àpẹẹrẹ. Wọ́n bá lù mí gan, ó dẹ́ta dàbí kọ́kọ́ ṣe fún mi. Ìwọ̀n wá gbé ìjókòó, wàá sọ ìgbà tó kù, kílẹ̀ tó fi mú, kílẹ̀ tó wá fi jókòó, kílẹ̀ tó wá fi sá, ìgbà tó wá sá kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, wàá tún wọlé lọ, wàá lọ ronú sí, wàá tún padà wá tún. Kọ́kọ́ bá lù mí kàkà you gone. When they do my time like I can avoid the beating and just then they don't match for me. But one day will be all day and bàbá mi ló wò gbúgbú. Wọ́n bá wọ́n ẹ tó bá tẹjọ́ sùn tó kúrò because wọ́n tẹjọ́ ẹ̀sìn láti ta kókó káàkiri gbogbo ẹni aṣojú ṣáàjì. Kò dẹ̀ jẹ́ kó òun wọ́sọ̀. Ìgbà tó òun náà dẹ̀ bí ọmọ ẹ̀ òun wò pé òun ò ṣe tó gbogbo yẹn nìkan kò dẹ̀ kó òun change. Títí ẹ̀ ní pé ìwọ́n tó fẹ́ ṣe kí ló dé tó ṣe fẹ́ ṣe. Because consequence wà fún gbogbo action.
I like the word consequence. Consequence anymore because in our own days, one of the things that people behave around there is consequence for whatever you do, and it's not a light consequence. It's not a consequence as there was consequence. Kó máa gé lọ. Exactly, you will never forget. You see, every parent have different methods. Ìtọ́tún sọ yìí sìn mo rántí pé àsùn ìgbà yẹn àwọn sílẹ̀ wọ́n máa mú àdá wọ́n máa jù sínú oko yẹn báyìí ibi tó bá láǹdì síbẹ̀ ló máa gé dé wọn dẹ̀ bí ẹ̀dá kó má gé ọ̀hún tó bá tó ṣe tán ló máa tó kúrò ń bẹ̀. So thank you so much for that, man.
Wọ́n lè máa sọ̀rọ̀ sí náà wọ́n máa bẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ pé nǹkan tó ṣe ibi tó lè jà sí tó lè jà sí wọ́n máa pọ́nìṣẹ̀ nìkan tó ọjọ́ mi tó bá fẹ́ ṣe fún rẹ ló fẹ́ make a choice yẹn tó bá wá make a choice yẹn fún rẹ gan tó máa consequence because ẹ̀rú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kò máa ń gbé kan sí ẹ̀ tó bá lù kò máa ń gbọ́ wá títí náà tó bá dẹ̀ ti ṣe nílẹ̀ náà wá fún ní consequence ti wọ́n ẹ̀. àdìgbò tó bá wà tó bá jẹ́ pé níta ọlọ́pàá bá fún ọ tó lè mú ẹ lọ sẹ́wọ̀n ó wà pẹ̀lú ṣé gbọ́dọ̀ dá bàbá mi.
under the law.
o gbọ́dọ̀ rojọ́
Yeah. Wow.
So àwọn ìwà kéékèèké tó máa ní ìsinmi ńláńlá àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wọn bá kù. Ìyẹn ni wọ́n fi fáti ṣé bá wọn máa tẹ̀ jókòó ní wọ́n lè kọ́ consequence. Títí bí mo ṣe wà yìí bí mo ṣe dàgbà pé ìgbà ìgbà pé ìjẹ́ lálọ́ bí bíbá bí mo ṣe dàgbà pé màá lo oríṣi pé kí mo ṣe fẹ́ lọ.
Kò tó ṣe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ó yé mi.
Clarity of why you're doing anything.
Yeah.
Because you're scared.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking true. You know, and see my shame mistake. Yeah, my shame mistake. Yeah, we say no, yeah. But I learned to do it because I work hard to think true.
Thank you, sis. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, ma. I mean, yeah. Ben. Ben. Thank you so much, ma. Somebody on Instagram said that a friend said that the mom, after that kind of treatment you mentioned, will also put pepper. That means I want to yamo, ma fi ko yamo. Lẹ́yìn tó bá nomo tó wá tó fi ko ya gbogbo rẹ̀, wọ́n tó fi ata sí. I think that is an extreme. It's an extreme. And I know a lot of young people that grew up hate tó pé wọ́n hate àwọn òbí wọn torí irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ìmí ìdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bí ẹ pé at least wọn ò jàyàkúyà, but most of the time irú ọmọ yẹn máa ní trauma. So mi ò rò bóyá wà okay. Akọbitush, thank you darling. Good evening olóòtú. 1 second ma. Ẹ̀yẹ́ sáré kà nǹkan táwọn ará Instagram sọ yìí. Èèyàn kan sọ pé good evening olóòtú, old way all the way. Ma, I am not a mother yet too, but I prefer the way I was being trained than the way the kids of nowadays are being treated. I'm going to allow Auntie Waliko to talk in a minute, but before she does, I just want to talk about alternative to all these things. You know, instead of goes slippers, we have to find alternative to it. But summer. God bless you, Chemostic. Welcome on board. Summer. Auntie Waliko.
Ìgbà táwa wá ìgbà táyé tiwa ó yàtọ̀ sí ayé tiwa ń gbà yẹn ó yàtọ̀ sí ayé ìsìn. Ṣé mo pé ń gbà yẹn ẹgbà corporal punishment was the in thing ń gbà yẹn. Ṣé jẹ́ pé kó jẹ́ wá nítorí bàbá mi ó burú èmi tẹ̀lé mi ò like maths so wọ́n fẹ́ náà mí kí mo maths but mi ò mọ̀. Ó kù mí kan ámì ni tó bá ní òkúta akọbí ẹ̀ yẹn náà mọ̀wé. Ó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà sílẹ̀ ti ṣoríire. Ṣé mo bá bẹ́ẹ̀? Ó ní láti Anthony kó rìn lọ sí Yabatech òfurufú.
Oh my God.
Nítorí ìlú òyìnbó ló ti wá ṣe school kò ṣe dáadáa wọ́n wá mú wálé. Ìbínú yẹn bàbá yẹn ní láti Anthony ó rìn dé Yabatech. Ọmọ yẹn ṣáà ti lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà sí American ball ni. Wáyà níjọ́ta lọ kí wọ́n lé wáyà. Táwọn tẹ̀ ń kébù ní wáyà. Bàbá yẹn fi ń nà tó fẹ́ gbé òkúta ìyá mi ní kíní tómi má máa pa àjọ ìyàwó ẹ̀ kàn ń sunkún ni. Bàbá mi náà tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú mi ń dà yìí pé mi ò mọ̀ máa tó bá dẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bò mí níjọ́ kan tó fọ́ mi létí ohùn mi yí tí 360
degrees.
Ọlọ́run nígbà tí mo ṣe wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ Ọlọ́run tó mọ̀ àkọ́bí mi ní so ẹni mi tuntun ìpẹ́
Chemostic.
Tún kéré ńgbà yẹn sọmọdé tí òun fẹ́ wọ́ ṣọmọ just bí ọkọ̀ fi ṣe bí àárí 2 naira àbí 5 naira ṣọmọ èmi kọ́ ni mo mú ṣọmọ gbẹ̀yọ́ máa ní àwọn tó bá purọ́ àjẹlẹ̀ àdọ́kọ̀ wọn kéyìn ẹ̀.
But they were right though. They were right, you know, they were right about those things.
Kò yẹ kó máa to the extreme nígbà ní ó pọ̀ jù nísìnyí àwọn ọmọ ọ̀sìn why are you shouting? Baby, ti bá pariwo ti bá sọ wọ́n you're shouting. You're talking to me.
Èmi gan fẹ́ wọ́.
Àti ẹ̀rọ ara pipe down. Tẹ́lẹ̀ mo máa ń lò pàtó kéré. Òbí mélòó ni mo fẹ́ náà lálẹ́? Tí bá sọ̀rọ̀ dáhùn sí lára.
Okay, ma. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're going to go to the new generation. You know, at the moment we are still focusing on our generation because some of the things that we dish out today is based on what we were told or what we learned. You know, one day I sọ pé ajá wòye la fi ń lé eworo ìwòyí, you know. I want us to talk about what those things, apart from the fact that they gave us discipline. Let's talk about other things that we commit or to ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa as a result of all those strict, very strict way of life. Let's talk about the advantages and the disadvantages. What are the advantages? Somebody has said it, we were, you know, I need beru, you understand? Let's talk about other advantages of strict parental discipline back in the days. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ nípa àǹfààní.
He reset our brain.
Ó fún wa ní factory reset, okay. Or reset brain wa. Can people please bring it on board, please? Bring it on. What are the advantages? Eshema Auntie Waliko said, or reset brain wa. Okay, what other things can we say that back in the day, strict parenting, what are the advantages that we will say that we enjoyed from it? Oh yeah, ẹ jẹ́ ká bring it on board. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bring it on board. Let's talk about it. Auntie said they reset our factory, give her a break. I mean, Aniberu, number one. Often any reset, you know, factory setting, brain resets, you know, so that we can behave ourselves. What other thing did they do to us? Somebody said it shaped us the way we are today. You know, most of us, it's shaping us. Will give us discipline, okay? We're disciplined. Most of us are disciplined. Somebody is shaping us, yes. Oh, shape why everybody sit tight.
And it gave us structure.
Yeah.
Like structure. My parents don't like this, so if I do this,
yeah,
we will enter the same trouser.
Discipline, structure is shaping us. Somebody said it's shaping us. Somebody said it made us brave. We are brave. We are able to confront life. We're able to confront life. We're brave and we have the resilience. Yeah. What other thing can we say? Somebody, we have the fear of Olubawi. Fear of Olubawi. There's always somebody that will say, you know, no matter how bad a child is back in our days, if they tell you that I'm going to report to so and so person, like Sister Buki said, if they say we're going to report to uncle, you know, you'll be like, let me quickly go and do. She said whenever they hear that uncle's name, everybody will start tidying up, starting keeping everything, you know, making sure that everything is on point. Somebody said no one can bully you out there. Yes, you confront life. You're able to confront life. We have respect for elders. Yes.
Respect, yes.
We have respect, a lot of respect for elders. All those, you know, up until Uncle Shaye. Somebody remember your uncle's name. The Uncle Shaye that they used to go and call to come and discipline everybody. Everybody will sit up when they hear the word Uncle Shaye. Anolubawi, Alanita Beru. You know, unlike nowadays, it's so bloody wow. If I say, who's Uncle Shaye? I don't even care. You know, that's what I'm saying, Mashi. Now, we talk about the pros and the cons. Let's talk about the cons. Kí làwọn nǹkan tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó tí àwọn nǹkan tó ṣe fún wa nígbà yẹn tó nílò effect wo, negative effects wo ló ní lórí wa. Let's talk about the negative effects of, you know, those strict disciplines. Respect for elders and shapes our morals. Yes, ma'am. Okay. People are traumatized. There's a lot of trauma. There is no trauma.
You can't face your parents. You say, mommy or papa, you'll be hiding.
You can't open up to your parents. Can't open up to your parents. A lot of people are. In fact, I want to pause on that, ma'am. Thank you so much for that, because this inability to open up to our parents and the fear that they've created in us, like Dewey's creation said, a lot of children suffered in silence. A lot of the so-called uncles that will call to come and discipline, all the so-called aunties that will call to come and discipline, some of them took advantage of that situation to abuse the children, whether emotionally or, you know, I don't want to use that word before they will pull down this just because they are too scared to talk to their parents. I remember back in the days, even whenever we open our mouth to talk, some of the things that they even discipline us on, we did not do it. For example, I'm going to cite an example. Something happened to me. I'm not sure if my mom can still remember. I think that was in 1984. 1984, I think I was 10. And you know, man that jump by and you come weekly ajo. So my mom left the money from me that whenever this person arrives, give this ajo to this person. and I kept the owó àjọ under the pillow. But it was during school holiday, àti ṣeré pálọ̀, àti dàgbẹ́ ìdìbò, àti dàgbẹ́ lórí. My mom has gone to work. By the time the alajo came, I did not even remember. I had gone to play. I did not even remember there was anybody that was supposed to give money to, until my mom came back and said, "Ṣé alajo wá? Ṣé o fún lówó?" That was when I suddenly remember, hey, Mama ni kí falajo lówó. I quickly ran to the inside. Níbo owó ti wá bí kọjá bọ́ sí àrówó mọ́. Àbá. Where is the owó? I don't know where it is. What did you do with it? I didn't do nothing with it. I don't even know what came to my mom's mind. Ṣé o ná ni? Ibo ló wà? Tó bá jẹ́ bí ló fi sí, ó máa wà ńbẹ̀. Somebody I've never stolen. I expected her to be like, then fẹ́ wọ́ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Anyway, I got the beating of my life that day. And when I got the beating of my life, I had to confess to what I did not do. That is part of the danger in excessive discipline. I confessed to what I never did. Mo ní pé mo ná. And one said, "Oh, ṣé kí ni o ná? Ṣé mo ní kó ná ni?" Gbas. They even woke me up in the middle of in the early hours of the day. No, ṣe lo mọ́ṣáláṣí báyìí. Ó yá dìde. Nǹkan tó ṣe lánàá yẹn gbas. I was beaten. I did not do it. I didn't do it for a very long time. That thing traumatized me. And then, what eventually set me free? It was very near the Ileya festival, because I'm from a Muslim background. My mom is still an Alaja. So when it is time for the Ileya festival, we normally tidy up the house. A máa kó gbogbo àwo síta, àwọn àwo tó fi máa ń decorate àtàyè bá fi jẹun orí yẹn láyé ìgbà yẹn. Tó máa fi decorate ilé àtàwọn special abọ́ àjàṣe. We now started moving everything out. We moved the bed with the afi fẹ̀kẹ̀ lówó ìjábọ̀ sílẹ̀. Hey, it was my mom that found it. She now said, owó àjọ tí mo fún ẹ tí mo rọra dì mọ́ pé kò ṣe bó òun rè ṣe bó sọ pé òun ná money, because the beating was too much. I just wanted it to stop the beating. That's why I confessed to what I did not do. My mom felt so bad. Next time, don't do that. No matter what. Tí a bá mọ orí èèyàn, ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ téèyàn ṣẹ̀, èèyàn máa sọ pé òun ṣẹ̀. So that's part of the disadvantage of excessive discipline. My mom was so sorry. She felt so bad. She even gave me the money. Making no. But you know that thing, sick. It was like one kuromele dami. I felt so bad. But that is to tell you the extent of excessive discipline. It's good to discipline. Yeah, Baba said, "Don't match you." When the feel sorry for me, no to you phone sorry to myself. My send account details missing. Careful, what's it? I know I'm going to shame me. So that is to tell you the one of the cons, the pros and the cons of this excessive discipline. Sometimes when our parents when they overdo it, the children, they can Golden Entertainment, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you. People can, thank you, Chef Mrs. People can you can only that's part of the disadvantages, even though it gives us all sort of things, structure, resilience, shaping us, we have fear for elders, we respect elders and stuff. Thank you so much, Chef Mrs. It can also lead to anything else, like the example I gave now. Do you know that from that day till I grew up, my mom was still apologizing? If for this thing now, if I mention it again, my mom said, Someone said, I have an uncle that my mom always calls to discipline me, but use that to sexually assault. A lot of uncles do that too. A lot of uncles will use the opportunity to assault. Somebody said, we have an uncle that mom was always calling. That's part of it. And you dare not talk. If you talk, you are in trouble. They'll put you in trouble. Somebody said you lied on your eleda yourself, mommy. I experienced it with my first child. She's always scared of me shouting. She has to own up for what she didn't do. Imagine. So we have to be careful. Somebody said, somebody said it happened to their first child, that the child had to own up. According to she said so these things. Of course, it's not funny. Pardon me for laughing. That wasn't funny. A lot of uncles took advantage of that situation to abuse young children. Even some aunties did it. They did it, touching the children inappropriately, or maybe they don't even like your parents in the first place, they will say, Eko ba mi no ni o, ba mi no mo mi o de no lomo. They will now be that child, be koku. You know, I also experienced something again with one of my aunties that she won't come along go shock for shock, kilo day. And if when I finished washing it one day, I was just finishing secondary school. So I now went to stay with them in their house. I want children would be playing. She give me clothes to wash, and I was washing the clothes. One question, you want me, but me for lewa. One go for me came out for no do. And I spread the clothes. The woman came and said, charge only one for you. Instead of her to tell me to remove the clothes and go and rewash it, that day I hated my parents for letting me stay with her. So these are the things that children had to go through during our own days. It has pros and it has cons. It is good to discipline children. It's good to call them to order. It's good to correct them. It's good to not let them get away with a lot of things, but it's also good to let them to not be too much. Excess of it can actually lead to a lot of things. In fact, excessive discipline, can lead to trauma. It can give room for abuse from outsiders, and etc. etc. So we need to know when to stop. Now let's talk about nowadays. And then I wanted to mention something about what Chef Missy said. She said something. She said her parents, after whatever they have done, whatever discipline, maybe they've asked her to cut grass, they've asked her to do this, they normally sit her down to now talk to her that this is the consequence for what you did, this. A lot of times people have been disciplined back in our days without even knowing what they did wrong or how they go wrong. Sit people down, discuss, have conversation. Let them be able to tell you, whether they did it or not, or why they did it. Sometimes, okay, even some of this, for example, say your color lota, what data. Back in the day, so bad lota to data. Accident ò lè ṣẹlẹ̀ ni. Back in the days, tó bá fapọ́ lọ́wọ́ táwọn bá jábọ́, they will say that they're going to use that plate to give you tribal marks. As accident, are we not allowed to make mistakes?
Growing in our days, they believe we are perfect. Our parents then.
They expect us to be perfect.
So their children has to be perfect as well.
Hey. Benny man.
They believe they were perfect. There was no fault. They had no fault. Everything went well, smoothly. And you two must be perfect.
How can somebody accidentally break plates? And then you say you're going to use the plate to do tribal marks. Maybe you like it, I remember when I was when I data I didn't bother going home or salon. Imagine come on she me say come wale. Somebody said it is cruel. Or no, it's true. It has reverse results on the case, and they sometimes they want them to rebel or something like that. Sometimes it's now get to a point where our mommy our salon, if to wrong hand, I think that is where our parents got it wrong. They were over strict. They did it too much. They need to understand that there are accidents. This
the strictness and the emotional stability as an individual.
Ben.
So that is
Sherry, to buttress your points, man. I remember my mom used to say something. Got to really?
pé òun fẹ́ lu ọmọ tọ́mọ bá ṣe nǹkan tẹ́ bá lọ lu ọmọ yẹn kẹ́ ẹ̀ wò pé kẹ́ ẹ̀ bá sọ́nà ẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá pàpàpà ẹ̀ máa ṣe léṣe ọ̀tẹ̀ bá pọ̀ pé o ṣe nǹkan báyìí lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ fún ẹgbà méjì sẹ́mi pé emotion yàtọ̀ sí o sáré lọ sókè lọ́mú kí wá o ṣe kíní there's something inside you ìsàdà kó jẹ́ pé òfẹ́ káwọn èèyàn rí pé ọmọ ẹlòmí tí ò ṣe dáadáa ọba yẹn máa wí.
You're taking out your whatever on the child.
The imperfection because ẹ ti dàgbà ẹ ṣe mọ nǹkan tó right from wrong. Ọmọdé làwọn ẹ fẹ́ kọ́ wọn láti mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe.
You're right, ma. Yeah, you're right. Somebody said some parents will even say, "So when you pass son, ko ya son pẹ̀lú." That's so true, you know. I remember that was what they used to do. They would send you on errand. They would not spit on the floor. It's twe. Ṣé rí tọ́tí mo pọ̀ lẹ́yìn?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o, bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Tó bá gbẹ kó tó dé. Àwọn people yẹn burú ẹ̀jẹ̀ má jà parọ́. You know. Wọ́n kó wa láyà jẹ. It's true. And you know.
Sorry, ma kí kó láyà jẹ yẹn ma. Bí dáwà ti dà. Àwọn ọkùnrin mẹ́rin náà bí ẹgbẹ́ wa tó jẹ́ cousin. Wọ́n mọ̀ ṣe dáadáa. Amẹ́ríkà lọ wà o.
Is it as a result? Do you think it's as a result of too much discipline? Ó mà ṣe o. Ó mà ṣe o. Ó mà ṣe o. Ó mà ṣe o. Ó lábo bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Nígbà míì wà gan àmọ́ bá ṣe lè solve problem débi kó fẹ́ ọmọ kan. Lọ́kùn wà ní ìfẹ́ ìmájà ó lè fi sílẹ̀ fún fún ọ̀gá tí ó sọ. Ó sì ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ tó ń bọ̀. So there's a law that we have to learn.
We have to learn and unlearn a lot of things. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Èyí èèyàn kan ti pè ní tó lọ́mọ mi òbí ló ṣe nǹkan báyìí. Ó ṣà ń sọ ọ̀nà mò ń gbọ́. Lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ kan bínú ni mo ní pé tó ń bínú ó ní pé ó yẹ kí n máa bọ́ ọmọ wí ni mo ní olómọ ṣe nǹkan.
Mo ń gbọ́ ẹ ó dẹ̀ tún ní.
Mo ṣe kó àwọn ọmọ wọn máa sọ bó ṣe rí. Tó kí ló ló ṣe ó ṣàṣọ pẹ̀lú agídí ẹ̀ka lóun lè wá lọ́mọ ẹ̀ mi ò ṣèwọ̀. Tó àwọn tó fẹ́ sọ tán. Ó ní láti bá mi dá torí nǹkan yẹn because ó fẹ́ kí n bọ́ ọmọ yẹn wí kó máa gbọ́. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ máa bọ́ ọmọ wí ọmọ tí ẹ̀ gangan ló wá ṣe nǹkan tí ò yẹ kó ṣe.
Ẹ lè imagine.
Ọmọ yẹn ọmọ gidi ni. Kò mẹ́kọ́ ọmọ yẹn ọmọ dáadáa ni. Ló wá wò pé àwọn ọmọ tèmi ló ṣe kí n máa bá wọn tó gbà tí mo bọ́ ọmọ mi mo ní láti kọ́ mí náà ni pé ibù kéèyàn má máa ṣe dáadáa níwájú ẹ̀ tó bá ti sọ fún pé àkíní yìí ò dáa o tó fẹ́ ṣe fi wọ́n sílẹ̀. Má dà á sí débi wípé orúkọ ẹ máa wà ẹ mọ̀ know when to cut out.
To buttress your point, ma, Chef Mrs. Sherry Nkotesọ yìí ó bring the memory kan sí mi lórí. When there are two things that my dad did to my younger brother that is still affecting him till today. My younger brother was a lefty, always using his left hand to eat, do everything. And back in the days, being left-handed, I don't know what he did to our parents too. They just felt that it's not right. So they were forcing him, always forcing him to use his right hand. Tó bá gbóúnjẹ lẹ̀ tó bá fọwọ́ sí wọ́n máa gbé kúrò níwájú ẹ̀. Ọmọ yẹn máa sunkún. Tó bá ṣe lé tó bá ṣe wọ́n máa gbé kúrò níwájú ẹ̀. They will beat him. Use your right hand. Use your right hand. Títí. Kí ni yẹn affect ọmọ yẹn dèní lẹ́ni? Because obviously that was where his brain was onto. That's part of the thing that our parents did wrong that they did not know. If somebody is left-handed, allow them to be left-handed in peace. You know, that's number one. Number two, that I wanted to buttress your point, Chef Mrs. This issue of somebody reporting your child to you, you need to hear them out. You need to hear your child out as well. When I was young, one of my aunties was reporting one of my brothers to my mom. So, mom see me dake. Wọ́n ṣàjẹ́ sọ gbogbo nǹkan tó fẹ́ sọ tán. Wọ́n wá ní okay, àwọn awòkọ́ tó àmà ṣe. The woman got angry. Wọ́n bá ọmọ ìwé, oh support, continue sọ, oh support, oh support. My mom got angry and said, irú support wo ló fẹ́ kí n sọ o? Ṣé support iwájú ni àbọ̀ support ẹ̀? Because I don't understand. You're telling me that my child did something and I told you that I'm going to investigate, you're getting angry. Do you know how many parents will definitely just listen to that one auntie and start disciplining their own child? You know, ọmọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa bọ́ ọmọ wọn wí, ọmọ yẹn dẹ̀rẹ̀ wádìí bóyá lóòótọ́. Just because àti wò pé anybody ló lè bá wa bọ́ ọmọ wa wí back in the days. You know, parents allow anybody to discipline their children on their behalf, and then they just feel that it's part of our, you know, community kind of things. We need to find out. A lot of children were mistakenly disciplined or mistakenly, you know, how do I even put it, for offenses they know nothing about because the parent didn't bother to check. You know, parents, you know, some parents simply they get jealous and they get jealous over your child and they are actually attacking you. That's why you need to find out. So those are one of the things that our parents did wrong. It's because they trained us to use our lefts to do dirty jobs. Yeah, that's why they assume that we cannot. Yeah, so a lot of people will give their children wrong accusation just because àti wọ́n mọ̀ pé environment àti dàgbà. I can't complain. Once an adult says it, it's in fact ìgbà mi tọ́mọ yẹn bá fẹ́ sọ pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ mà kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àgbàlagbà ń sọ̀rọ̀, ìwọ náà sọ̀rọ̀, let the child talk. You say no, not every child has the opportunity. Like when I was young, I had a lot of adults that didn't like you because I will talk. That which is on top of my throat, I will say it. I even did it to the point that in staff room one day, I confronted one teacher in front of everybody. Excuse me, sir, you did it. Excuse me, sir, you did it. And a lot of teachers hated me for that. Not many children have that confidence. Not many children can confront, you know, when you're back, sorry, we're not sorrow. We have shut a lot of children down and then we have disciplined them for wrong accusation, offenses they know nothing about. That's part of the, you know, disadvantages of the kind of parenting that we had back in the day. Somebody said left hand is reserved for Egbe. Even here, some Nigerians give out to children that are left-handed saying that if they use left hand, people will see till today people just believe that left hand is not right, but there are some people that wear like that. My son uses his left hand more than his right hand to do anything at all. That's one thing my mom didn't do. She will shout in front of that person stylishly and ask us what happened later. That's good. Some parents will even confront the person. That's when my mom will call you names. You will hear Eleke Poco. You know, just to make sure that the person, you know, some people will do that. Some people say it right in front of the person, you know. So let me read this. Somebody said, I've learned to listen and hear my children out. Okay, my grandma confused my brain with being left-handed. Now she's gone and I'm still dealing with it. Can you imagine? A lot of children having to deal with these things. That's coming from Pebbles. You know, when they force you to be who you are not. I've learned to listen and hear my children out now. You need to learn to listen to them, hear them out. You know, that's what saved my sister from a professor that wanted to abuse her. Exactly. She talks, so me, I will talk. Everybody knows me. In fact, recently I was just one of my friends of how vocal I used to be. During my 50th birthday, one of my friends came to talk about when they say give people microphone. They said, this one when we were in school, if no matter what, she would open her mouth and say, even when the principal is there, she would. That was how I used to be. I would say my own. You will not like me. No, you will say talk about master telling me, and I will never lie. I will say exactly what happened. Whether that thing pays you or not is none of my business. But not many children have that, you know. Not many people have that grace. Recently, I happened to see one of my teachers back in the secondary school, who is now a principal of my secondary school. So I wrote a book and I donated some copies to schools in Nigeria. So I asked them to give some to my secondary school. So that teacher got to contact me through that. She's now the principal. The moment she called me, she said, please call me when you can. The moment I called her, she said, oh, no, for Bumi. I said, kill me. She said, you will say it. Maybe the word Olofofo is not what I'm supposed to use, as in you will say your own. I will say my own. But not many children have that boldness. So I think that's one of the things that a lot of children suffered for. A lot of young people suffered for it. Some will know the truth. They will want to talk, but they will not talk just because of fear they will be shut down. And this idea, when another is talking, you zip. When another is talking, look down. And disadvantages of that is that in this part of the world where we are, those of us who are in the UK, you will bear me witness. A lot of our children had entered into trouble, especially with police or with people in authority, because of this idea that you have to look down when you're talking. Look down! I don't mess with you. A 40 kind of thing. Here, in this part of the world, they think it is rude for you to be looking down when they're talking, or maybe you have something to hide. So, as a result of that, you have to always look down. When they're now in school and something happened and they're looking down, they will automatically conclude that one in cotton hide ni wọ́n ṣe ń wọlé. Meanwhile, báwa ṣe tọ́ wọn nìyẹn. So those are the disadvantages of all this kind of parenting that our parents did back in the day. Some of us lost confidence. Some of us lost confidence to talk in public for fear of being shut down. Then another thing that our parents did back in the day was calling names. You know, one of the things that they did to us back then was they called us all sort of names. Ori, ego, ori, egbeku, ori, orobo, ori, odabipala, ori, ororie, oretie, orimwe. You know, they didn't say anything wrong in it. That's one. Number two is gang discipline. The generation of my fathers and my mothers, they gang disciplined us. For example, in my own family, my mom has so many siblings, female siblings. My dad has so many siblings. She talk about it, oh, lórí gbígbẹ, ẹnìkejì dáhùn, ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ gbígbẹ, ẹnìkẹta dáhùn, onímúgogoro, ẹnìkarùn dáhùn, onídìpẹ̀lì, ẹnìkẹfà dáhùn. I used to go behind the door and go and cry. What did I ever do to these people? Kini yẹn, ó really affect a lot of us. It affected a lot of us when you gang discipline a child. Lóòótọ́ wọ́n máa sọ pé ká pẹ̀lú pọ̀ bọ́mọ wí. Wọ́n máa sọ pé ká pẹ̀lú pọ̀ bọ́lẹ̀ wí. Ká wà ní pé ibi tó ní nǹkan fi sí ò dáa. Yes, but tó bá tún pọ̀ jù, it does affect children. It affects their confidence. It affects their mental health. Sometimes that child would never ever be able to come out. I remember I used to go behind the door to go and cry. You know, another thing I don't like about our generation, I will see here. When they are beating you, they say, why is my man on your leg? But I shut up. Those people, they will be beating you like this. How? How is that even possible? Or they will say, you want to talk? They will even be telling you, told me about Jaboni or Jue. How? I beg. It's the only way that find that really, really weird and ridiculous. When they are beating you, don't fool any babala beating. Not that way. Shh. Toba suku. If I hear pim, how? Yeah. You know, all these things, they have very terrible effect on children. Somebody said they become leaders, but they can't lead. You know, and some people will now take it out on their own children. Some will take it out on their spouse. Some will never forgive their parents. Recently, not too long ago, I think about 2-3 years ago, a lady, I think her name was Kemi, she sued her mom. He was brought up in this country, and I think the mom was an African. The mom disciplined her so much during the time of her youth days. Wọ́n nà wọ́n bá wí wọ́n ṣeríṣiríṣi fún. Débi tẹ́ pé nígbà tọ́mọ yẹn dàgbà, ó sú ìyá ẹ̀. Ó fi gbogbo àpá àti gbogbo nǹkan tí trauma tí ìyá ẹ̀ put her through. And the government actually jailed the woman. They jailed the mother for offenses that the woman had committed in the 70s and the 80s. They jailed the woman. Go and Google it. The woman actually she sued her parents in this country. She said, I didn't like the way my mom treated me. She had a lot of, we are fire on Joe, yeah, I knew, but off one discipline. But she created so much, and that child hates her mother till today. Then I have someone that says up till now, the mother, even as an adult, she's almost 50, her mom is still treating her that way. She's always, talking down her, doing all sorts to her. And then she lost her confidence. She can't even talk to people. And the mother is still doing it today. She's a friend. I had to tell her that, look, it's either you confront your mother and discuss this thing and end it once and for all, or you avoid going near her altogether. Because anytime she has contact with her mother, she's always very upset, very sad. She feels less of herself. She hated herself because of the way her mom treated her and is still treating her. Giving her all sort of nicknames. This woman, the woman talking about, very beautiful with lovely eyeballs. Only ojú iná shiny. Only eyes kongba, olójú godogbo, olójú globe, olójú gba, owiwi. Only kò sórúkọ tí wọ́n kì í fi ń pè wọ́n. So much that she hated herself. She hated her eyes. She hated, people need to stop body shaming, harassing our young ones with bad names. All those things, they have adverse effects on most of us, and the way to manifest it is too much, so we need to stop it. Somebody said the nickname my mom gave me, the nickname my mom will call me is Olójúràngodo. Olórí gígùn bí ìgò magi, Ọlọ́run gígùn bí ìgò magi. Imagine, it's not funny. Those are the parts where our parents didn't. Somebody said they call that spaghetti. I didn't experience that directly from my mom or from my dad. I didn't really experience that directly from my parents, but I had adults that surrounded me that called me names. And that's why when I started adding a bit of flesh and somebody said, sister, because all my life I was bullied, I was called names for being skinny. There's no name that they call skinny person that they didn't call me in my own house. Members of family, orí ego, lepa, orí bí ẹja, orí bí ẹja gbígbẹ, orí bí kìíní kan gbígbẹ, ó dàbí aáyán, ìyálé aáyán, èdè ti. And then when they do that to me and I cried, they still discipline me for crying. Kí ló ń pa nígbé? Èwo ni ègbé òṣì? Dídìrín. Kí ló ń pa ẹlẹ́kún? Kí ló funny? All those things. Obviously, those things, they have terrible effects on a lot of us. Hey, Mama Banke, God bless you. Welcome on board, ma'am.
Sorry, but in our diaspora,
yeah.
If you refer to a child like that, and in an unknown way, somebody is going to sing to that child. That child, can you open it? Wala. So, because you want to push it forward, because that's in the land. Because of that, or come back to not there in school. Come back to people who should
Yes, and that's why we are going to bring it back to this generation, ma. Thank you so much, ma, for mentioning that, Chef Mrs. Somebody said my parents don't body shame me, but they will beat you till you wouldn't recognize yourself. Somebody says same here, as in all those names. When your parents are actually already body shaming you, they don't even know, they don't know better. We can't really blame them. They are also giving out what they learn. Most of them don't know better. They didn't know better. And the one that really bothers me most was the fact that they will not even allow you to react. Tó bá kàn ṣe báyìí lásán, èmi ló ń jọ́sẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ fún another ìyà tó máa gorí ẹ̀. Tó bá ṣe bá kọ, èmi ló ṣe bá kọ fún ọmọ àná ẹ̀. If you are crying, kí ló fa gbé ẹlẹ́kùn òṣì onígbé ìranu èwo nígbé òfò. Those things, personally, it didn't do us good. It did us bad more than good. But of course, we have talked about the good part of the discipline, the strict discipline, the no-nonsense discipline. It helped us in so many ways and all of that, but it also damaged a lot of us in so many ways. Some people till today, they experience abuse from members of their family and they cannot say it out because they believe that if they say it out, it will earn them more egba. It will earn them more to subject them to money or bibu or something like that. So those are the disadvantages of that parenting that we did back in the days and then compared to today. Now let's talk about this generation. Let's first of all talk about some of the things that we that the way that we discipline our children nowadays, or the parenting. We call it gentle parenting. Gentle parenting, does it really work? Is it good? Let's talk about gentle parenting. And when we say gentle parenting, what are we talking about? Compared to the days of our fathers and our mothers, their one were very strict. There were no nonsense, all this and all of that. So gentle parenting is obviously opposite of that. So what are the what are the advantages of this? Yes, Mama Banker said Babanla psychological warfare in the home ni àwọn nǹkan tó ṣe fún wa láyé ìgbà yẹn. Now let's talk about this generation. The generation that we are in now. Let's talk about it. The curses some parents put on their kids affect them for a long time. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, I know one woman in my àdúgbò ńgbà yẹn. She will look at her children and say, Lágbájá ó máa ṣòfò ní mo ní Jesus, blood of Jesus. My mom, in fact, in my own home, it was a taboo to say negative word. If me and my brothers are fighting, but orí ọkọ mọ́mí máa sọ pé ṣé orí tó dúró sí yẹn ó gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ńbẹ̀. Ó yá, nǹkan tó sọ yẹn tún sọ kó sọ pé orí ẹ̀ pé lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ nísinsìnyí. So we are not even allowed to say any negative words in our home. But some homes, they said a lot of negative words to their children, abusing them, raining insults on them, raining curses on them, and all of that. So it's terrible. And up to today, it's following them. I know someone, an adult, that was crying to me and saying, because she's experienced a lot of, issues in her life in this country. One day she started crying. She said, "Bùnmi tí ẹ mọ̀ bóyá gbogbo èpè tí ìyá burúkú tó kó òun ní tó pera ẹ̀ níyà mi yẹn. Mi mọ̀ bóyá gbogbo èpè tó ń ṣẹ́ fún mi ló wá tẹ̀lé mi kiri. Mo ní àṣé ìyá yìí ṣe pé ní àyà yẹn ṣe pé ìyá yẹn ṣe pé. Mo ní Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ pé don't think like that. Just pray and then come out of it. Imagine. So it's bad. Okay, let's go back to the parenting nowadays. Parenting nowadays compared to back in the days, what we call gentle parenting. Is it good? At what point do we, what we give excuse as gentle parenting? When how do we know when to stop? Gentle parenting, okay, afema na omo wa. We no longer want to slap our children. We want to listen to them. We want to allow them to be who they are. We want to allow them to be free with us. Please unmute yourself. Talk to me. At what points, what can we do differently compared to our parents? Let's talk about it. We can write it as well.
I think for me, gentle parenting, I don't agree with gentle parenting or hard parenting. Parenting is nurturing. That's what I live in the house. And what I mean by nurturing is there's scared guidance. There are things that are still punishable under my law, in my own way. Mm-hmm. Yeah? When the kids know what is punishable under the law. Mm-hmm. You understand? You will never see my daughter on the phone with a friend and gossiping. There are things that is most, there are things that do not do it. Mm-hmm. And listen to that. Mm-hmm. And there are things, even when they have opinion, let's say that do something that they don't like, you can have conversation without being rude. You can never be good to anybody that's older than you, but you cannot. So it's not there for you to know how to have a conversation. You won't make mistakes, then you'll be corrected in your mistakes. Yeah? Another thing is, and don't go no. So you that want to teach your children what to do.
They are watching you.
Yeah, if you want to take water, they will keep on and say, Mom, can I have water? Now they're 20 years old. Going to the shop, say, Mom, I'm going to the shop. It's my brother's birthday. Do you need anything? I said, I'm going to have plan for tomorrow. What do you think we should do? Buy whatever you think we should do. They kind of ask permission. That's how that they grow. And I don't see that permission. It's conversational. It's like, it's like, I'm going to do this. What do you think? Because you've already taught them, when she's going out, let's say when she was 16, they go out to party, for example. You're like, I'm going to this party. You're not drinking. Yes, you're not drinking. There are beer that looks alcoholic, there's no alcohol. I put it in a bag. And I tell her why she needs to be very aware of herself. And what aware of yourself is.
Yeah.
So I speak very well. Where are you going? What time are you coming back?
Thank you.
Tell me, as you call me. If she's tired, think that you're tired and you don't like where you are, or that, then she'll call me. She'll call the dad, we'll pick her up. Not that she's doing it. She won't be calling back her husband, we're not picking up. Like, before I'm not picking my call, what happened? Have you forget you have a child? You understand? I have to that motivation me. Ìsìn tó ń lọ ọwọ́ ẹ̀ ní gbogbo nǹkan tó bá ṣe wà.
Ló wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ó ti a ti sìn yẹn débi tẹ́rù ò ti ní báyìí.
Nǹkan báyìí lè má ṣẹlẹ̀, nǹkan báyìí lè ṣẹlẹ̀.
Yes. Yes.
Má ṣe kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pẹ̀lú agídí. Má ṣe ṣe wọn ní ṣe ìkọ́lọ́wọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ àti primary school wọ́n ti ń bára wọn ṣeré.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tí èmi gangan dẹ̀ mọ̀ ní kò lè sọ.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni bẹ́ẹ̀ni
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Èmi gangan mọ̀ báwo mo ṣe máa sọ pé má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ yan ọ̀rẹ́ ìwọ̀n kúkú mi ò lè bá sọ̀rẹ́. Wá bí ẹ sọ̀rẹ́ lẹ́kùn.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Tó bá ń bá sọ̀rẹ́ know who you are, know where you're going, know the delay for when you're going. You can be a friend and not be stupid.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni, thank you so much. bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
And that's how I nurture my children. So soft parenting, clinical parenting is not the soft parenting that is the main thing, no. What are they going to do? What is the consequence of their actions? You know, if I call my little son, go and get me a cup of tea, why is he always with your calling? Throughout the day, you'll be the only one I will call. You'll be the one that will be going upstairs and downstairs. So next time I send you, you bring me tea, you bring that cup, you go back to put more water.
Yes.
You'll see the same thing.
That's how to do it. Yes.
If you need me, you said, I'm working, you take me here. I'm leaving everything to take you there. So if I need you, you need to show up for me.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so I'm caring for you, you're caring for me.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you, because the table will turn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o.
Mom said, I couldn't tell you. I was telling my mom, I said, your sister, they're not good people. And my mom said, I gave her an example. And she was in shock. So I had that connection with her for me to be able to tell her that Papa is not she. She said, oh, man, not one day you go. Oh, she just one year with no one. Oh, she just one go with no one. You understand?
Yes.
You know, but if the way she brought me up is, you cannot do that. It's the same way I will communicate because I won't know better.
Benny, thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Those are very, 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 very relevant points. You know, I will actually be emphasizing on the fact that you said, of course, there are some offenses. This is not about gentle parenting. This is just, you know, proper parenting. You know, allow these children to be who they are in front of you, so that when they go behind you, they will not go and do otherwise. A lot of us were doing things back in our days that we did without the consent and without the knowledge of our parents because we were too scared to let them know. A lot of young people during my age would jump fence to go to parties. They would put extra clothes in their bags, and they would go to parties. They would go and do stuff, you know. And the parents, as far as the parents thought, they thought, mommy, Jerry. A lot of parents thought that, but it was wrong. But when you're parenting your children and you allow them to be who they are, you allow them to be able to approach you for anything, allow them to be able to talk to you. I'm going to start an example similar to what Chef Mrs. said. You know, my daughter at age, I think around 16, one day there's a party, one of our friends organized a party, and she was saying, Mommy, I don't think I want to go to this party. I said, it's up to you. If you want to go, it's okay by me. If you don't want to go, it's okay by me. And then she said, okay, I don't want to go. Then later they started posting stuff on their snap chats. Hey, Damsey Care, God bless you, man. Welcome on board. Our friends started posting stuff. But she already got on and posted. But Mommy, I think I want to go. I want to go. I'm drop it. She was surprised. So she dressed up and she went. 30 minutes later, she messaged me, Mommy, please come and pick me. I said, Nibo. She was up on party. She said, Mom, come and pick me. I don't like what they are doing here. They are doing adult stuff. If I said that she should not go to that party, she would probably have said she's going somewhere else and left. And then she'll probably be at that party. When things are happening that she's not happy about, she will be forced to stay back. Because whatever to do about it, the woman faradani. So that's why parents, we need to allow these children to be free with us. Let them be able to tell us exactly how they feel. You know, when we scream at them, when we don't even let them land before we jump at them, they will go back into their shell and they will do a lot of things behind our backs. So thank you so much for that, ma'am, Chef Mrs. God bless you. I'm going to read what people are saying on Instagram. Somebody said, we have to talk to them. Yes, we have to deprive them of privileges, not essentials, things. You know, yes, live by example and pray for them and with them. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, Baba said Ojubelo. Now, I like when you said deprive them of not essentials things, but we can deprive them of privileges. Sometimes, you know, my mom used to say when I was young, it's not everything that your child asks for that you should always be making available, all in the name of what I did not enjoy. I want my children to enjoy it. Nowadays, we see children putting lace wig on 10-year-old, putting eyelashes on 10-year-old. You know, shape your care more. You know, shape what I did not enjoy, I want my children to enjoy it. We need to know when to stop. We need to know when to balance things up. Give them what they need. Give them as much as possible, but not over. Let me have iPhone 17 Pro Max, lay on 15, on 14 lower. You know, these things we need to actually balance it up. And like when John said, we need to talk to them. It's so important. I have the most and the deepest conversations with my daughter. There's nothing we don't discuss. Even when it's not pleasant, it may ask for me, I am also okay, but I like to correct her and I like to control her so that I'm able to hear another one. You know, when they talk to you, how do you react? Do you scream? Do you say, yeah, cool? Do you scare them away? Do you make them feel bad? When they make mistake, allow them to make mistake in peace. You know, people can make mistakes. Allow them. Like when we were young, we were almost not allowed to make mistake. Any little mistake we make, we are in trouble. Allow them to make mistake in peace. Help them to correct those mistakes. Help them to help them to get up to what they need. And another thing that we need to stop doing as parents, don't overprotect them. I love that. I was just about to say that. Another thing that we do as parents is we wrap them in tissue paper. Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ gan-an òun ni chef mrs gbà lẹ́nu mi. Mo sì fẹ́ sọ pé one thing that we do as parents, we wrap these children up. Ẹlòmíì báyìí gbogbo ọmọ yẹn bá ṣe ló kó wọn sínú tissue paper báyìí. To wrap them, to wrap wọn up. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn wà níwà streetwise. Wọn wà nílé kọ́. They won't be able to know how to react in certain situations. Please don't wrap these children in tissue papers. Allow them to explore the world. Allow them to make mistakes. While you let them out, you keep an eye on them somehow. A lot of parents nowadays, we say, I don't want my kids, what happens if I don't want to happen? I don't want to have any contact with anybody. Come about data, I should be a Greek. One more what to do in certain situations. Teach them to be streetwise. Let them understand what is happening out there. Do not wrap them in tissue papers. Allow them to explore life. Allow them to explore the world. Allow them to make mistakes. Allow them to, do stuff. I have a sister of mine. When my daughter was going to uni, of course, so we took her to uni. So the following, after that one finished first semester or whatever, she now called me and said, Mommy, I want to come home. I said, come home. She said, how am I supposed to come? I said, go and look for how you're going to get home. You understand? My sister was like, hey, Joe, you will have gone to pick her up. I said, I beg, go. Me, I don't want to raise my child in a way that she will not know her left from her right. So, auntie will matter. Even your own children, I will not allow you to do that to them. And then she came home that day. She was so fulfilled. She said, Mommy, I made it. I went this way. I went from there to underground. From underground to, because I drive them everywhere when they were growing up. She didn't grow up in London, so they didn't have chances to go on public transport like that. Today now, there's nowhere in the whole of this world that girl cannot get to. So allow them to be vulnerable, like Chef Mrs. said. Allow them to be vulnerable, allow them to explore the world and everything. Now, let's talk about things that happen nowadays that we dare not do in our own days. Some parents are blaming themselves now for some of the things that the children are doing. Some children are tougher than the others. Bá ṣe ń sọ tó pé àwọn òbí wa burú nígbà tiwa yìí, àwọn tó ṣìyàwó. Wọ́n máa ń pe kinní kan ní àbí ìkọ́. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa ń pe kinní kan ní àkọ́ọ̀gbà. When parents are doing their best and the children just refuse to, actually, láwọn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn mates mi wà tó jẹ́ pé till today they didn't listen and they are reaping the consequences. Kò sí kọ́ táwọn òbí wọn ò ṣe tán. They didn't listen. They still ended up, do all sort of things. So when a child is not listening, or that child is not doing what you expect, or you have put all your best in, you've tried all your best, you've done everything to shaping that child, and that child is not listening, how can we advise such parents? Or the parents are beginning to feel bad. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? Did I not do this right? How did other people do it? Because our mommy, some children are easier to raise than others. We're not going to shy away from that. Like myself, when I was growing up, my parents, if they say sit down there, I'm one of those easygoing young children, but some children just naturally tough. Ọmọ yàtọ̀ sọ́mọ. Tabade for woman, I just want us to close on these notes. When you have done your best, but the child is still not listening. You know, you've done gentle parenting, you've done discipline, you've called them to order, you've prayed, you've done everything. And as a parent, you're beginning to look like shame you'll fail by. Can we please advise such people? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The last one, yeah. Was small. The Bible for my body, 9 months old. The last so many again. The hello. Oh my, will not talk in there.
It was a time.
Almost my life last Sunday. What's it like? So it's very strong.
Yeah. Kó tó dìgbà tó má dàgbà tápá èèyàn níka.
Ọmọ tẹ́ mo lọ sí sùn tẹ́ bá ní wọn jákẹ́ẹ̀tì á lóorun òmóhun máa ya páàkì mọ́tò mi jìnnà. Àmọ́ wá fẹsẹ̀ rìn tó tutù bá mu pẹ̀lú kí ni your jacket because we only learn through consequence. Let them learn that consequence earlier. The mommy àti daddy ẹni láti ọ̀nà ó máa burú. Èèyàn kan máa tutù. Ẹni tó bá burú kó má sọ pé kó tutù ọ̀dẹ̀ ni because méjèèjì lèèyàn need. Bọ̀tẹ́nu ò bá ti kò èèyàn lè ṣe èyí change àwọn ọmọ náà. Ọmọ náà yẹn ó lè lọ ilé ìwé nísìnyí kí tíṣà kan kó gbẹ́sẹ̀ sórí àga for example sí kí tíṣà ní kó gbẹ́sẹ̀ sílẹ̀ á lẹ́sẹ̀ rò òun ò gbẹ́sẹ̀ sílẹ̀.
Òun lọ kọ everybody.
Ọ̀gá ẹ̀ bá mọ ìdílé tó ti wá ẹ máa bìlí pé kò ń ṣe bí wọ́n ti kọ́ máa wà àbí you have opinion that is not true. But when you come back home and say when I say everywhere then that is you want me to take you to football ẹsẹ̀ tó rẹ́ ṣọ́ọ̀tì jìnnà ni ẹsẹ̀ ń lò ní mẹ́rin náà ló lọ bí tó ń pẹ́. Tó bá dé school you understand what? So there are things let them see that there is flip to everything. Let them learn the consequence. I will shout at him and be like, you don't shout at anybody, I do everybody.
Oh yeah, me. You are not everybody. You are my own.
So tension now. They put you in detention. I'll go to the school. The teacher is a good boy.
Thank you, Mama Banker. Yeah.
So that's a good boy. Because the city tension. So kí ni consequence? Do after about gbélé ló máa lọ sí detention. No, playtime ẹ̀ ní kó lọ detention. O ṣe tá débi fẹ́ wá gbé. You understand? And whatever it does, I want to see it in light. Nǹkan tó ṣe, tó tó bá wá dé, kí ni ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ kí ló lè fi dúpẹ́ nì? Báwo ló ṣe lè ṣe? Wọ́n máa lé kí ó gbọ́. Lẹ́nu ọjọ́ kan mo sọ fún pé wo ní session tó fẹ́ wọ̀ yìí. To ban you, to ban the one need detention for you see some of your life. You know, oh my God, project. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in your behavior. Check out also. I explained my stance on her. If you want to be a bad dad, I'll be a bad mom. You know, so you have to go. If you need to go extreme, go extreme. If you don't need to go extreme, let that child. So I put it that back. Don't give them the liberty. Don't give them the access. You understand? You beg them on nothing. The Bible bàtà tó mọ̀ mí fẹ́ra.
There is always that one. There is always that one in the family. So you don't know my job guy everybody. Thank you so much, ma'am. I really do appreciate to continue to nurture. Never give up on them. No.
Who you are because you're strong will. And I'm letting you know. And you have to be mindful of this and that and that and that. But if we go no, I didn't yet pause you go.
Thank you.
So when you want to tell him more, you're not telling him don't climb it. If you climb it, you got to match it.
Thank you so much, ma. God bless you, ma. You know, it has not been said. One thing that I just want to quickly establish before I round up this segment is the fact that ọmọ yàtọ̀ sọmọ. Olórin kan ni ẹ má fọmọ wọ́mọ o, ẹ má fọmọ wọ́mọ o, ẹ bá fọmọ wọ́mọ ẹ ó nà kán pa, ẹ bá fọmọ wọ́mọ ẹ ó nà kán pa. Children are different. We're all different. The fact that your first one is very calm, easy to raise, does not mean your second one is going to be like that. Every child is peculiar in their own way. One thing that we learn to do as parents is never ever to compare or to assume because it was easy for me to raise the first one, it has to be exactly the same thing. Then if you have a strong-willed one, I like the word strong-will and not stubborn. A lot of our parents will say, oh, stubborn. Not stubborn, not necessarily stubborn. Ọmọ yàtọ̀ sọmọ. Ọmọ mi was strong-willed. Ọmọ mi first, ọmọ mi, another child will want to ask you, why, if you say do this, why do you have to do it? If you don't tell me why I have to do it, I don't understand why you have to do it. Some children will not just ask questions, they will just obey. And the funniest thing is the fact that Omo are very easygoing, it does not necessarily mean that child is perfect. In fact, I want you go on, what's up, labe? Child Omo was strong with your facing, with them what you see is what you get. Sometimes it can be quite overwhelming for parents. Sometimes parents will be like, Omo, you rude, Omo, you bad, I call Bani, mo kokogbon, mo she blah 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 blah. Omo yato someone. Amy, I particularly pick interest in children like that. I pick interest in children that are very strong-willed. I want to be my bikini. A lot of my friends have kids like that, and they like, oh my young born. I'm like, so I don't understand. I make friends with children like that. I like to be their friends. I like to talk to them. Some of them, they will talk to me. Somebody say, yeah, Lily. I like to talk to them because a lot of times parents, we forget that these children are different from us. They're different from the way we are raised up. We automatically just write them off. Some of them, down within them, they have this greatness. They have these peculiar things about them, but they're just strong-willed. They're very confrontational. They will ask you questions. They will say, why would I do that? And like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to say? And they will say it to your face. It doesn't mean that those children are bad. Please, parents, please, let's be calming down. Let us be calming down. Don't write those children off. Don't write them off. Try your best. Calm them down. Talk to them. Befriend them. You need to befriend them. I have a lot of very, what they can't tell their moms, they will tell me. Because I kind of have a way of, calming them down, let them feel comfortable in their own skin. The fact that the fact that question, please, parents, let's bear this in mind. In fact, out of 7, we will have one that is like that. If it's like that, allow them to be who they are. Calm them down. Obviously, pray for them. Take your time with them. Give them the chance to express themselves. And sometimes they even outgrow this thing, that stage down, so but no matter outgrow it. So we need to know. So tonight has been a very beautiful night. We've been able to talk about parenting, how we were raised, how our parents parented us, and how we're parenting our own children now. This is a generation that's totally different from ours. In our own days, there was a lot of strictness, discipline. Everybody's allowed to discipline your child. I still allow people to discipline my children, but not everybody. I don't give access to everybody to discipline my children anyhow. But I know the people that have my best interest at heart, I let them do, and I don't give you the total leverage to just teach my child anyhow. One thing again that I forgot to mention, I want to emphasize on is Kienuko. Please. A lot of times these children are confused because daddy is saying A, mommy is saying B. Sometimes we parents, we need to learn to speak one language whenever we are talking to these children. Very, 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 very important. There is nothing to yara destroy your mom. B. Even if what that mother is saying is, isn't right at that time, please, let's just allow, allow peace to reign at that time, and then you can always come and say, sweetheart, what you have said now, that child is going to be confused. You shouldn't have said like that. We also need to kind of, we can discuss in advance or later, not in front of that child, not arguing in front of the child. That mommy is saying, put it down. Daddy is saying, don't put it down. Don't mind your mommy. Mommy is saying, I said, put it down. Daddy is saying, you put it up. You don't listen to your mom. Or, we don't assume that we are competing in the way we raise our children. When a dad is saying, you always listen to your mom, or mom is always saying, you always listen to your dad, can't I talk to you as well? Because your man can't move confused. Or the man just your mom, can you tamper with growth and development of more. So we need to learn to speak one language. We need to discuss certain things. Someone about she by kini kota ma she fun. How do we go about it? How do we handle it? As parents, and obviously not in front of that child. It's so important. Somebody said some aunties and uncles are bullies. Yeah. So we need to learn to balance things up, and then allow children to be children. A lot of people miss their childhood because of how strict. I have a friend. Some people on this show will probably know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to mention her name. When we were growing up, I used to think that special don't belong to our parents. My parents will be. Because number one, they make her do all the house chores, everything. She's always working. Oh, they now are bro, if not that old joy yet, old joy mommy are gone, I would have assumed that she woman be girl. So she wasn't allowed to go out. She wasn't allowed to. When we have extracurricular activities, she's not allowed to come. She wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. Now this girl is of course my age. When we attended the same secondary school. Now this girl she suddenly started dressing up. I can't do more. I only wash my jolly. I have photo. I go because we want to go shake. So that thing can have some effects on children. Let children be children. Let them grow up. Allow them to make mistakes. Allow them to, and of course we should be firm, but we shouldn't be too strict to the point that we now damage our children. Allow them to be who they are. We don't necessarily have to raise them the way we were raised. They can borrow some cues from whatever our parents have taught us with and use it and then, fine-tune it to meet this generation. And I pray pé k'Ọlọ́run kó fún wa ṣe because ẹni tó bá kókó ẹ̀ bá yé àwọn Yorùbá ṣe máa ń sọ ayé alóhùn ló mọ̀ ọ́ lọ k'Ọlọ́run gbà fún wa káwọn ọmọ wa má yàwọ́ kọ́ má yọmọ kọ́mọ kọ́ má yọmọ òṣì káwọn náà má dẹ̀ jẹ́ òbí òṣì. We don't want to be parents that in old age the children will say ìyá burúkú, when I was growing up she did this. We don't want that. And also we don't want our children to be, I don't know this. I'll round up on this one. There was a story of an old notorious open firing squad back in Nigeria. One of the armed robbers that were, sentenced to be executed said they should let him whisper one last thing to his mom. And then when his mom moved close to him, he so when they asked him why, he said yes, they're going to execute him, but because nígbà correct him. Tóun bá lọ jí nǹkan ìgbà tóun ṣe kékeré ìyá yìí ló máa ń sáré báwọn gbà pamọ́. Tóun bá lọ jáṣọ aláṣọ ìyá yìí ló máa báwọn gbà pamọ́. Tóun bá mú òun ìyá yìí ló máa deny pé irọ́ o kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Ìyá yìí ò correct òun kò put òun in the way tóun jẹ́ kóun ṣe lọ. So he grew up thinking that was the right way. And now he's done it to the point that they're about to execute him. So parenting has to be balanced, and I pray that God will help all of us. Okay, Abala Kini Kinshay. Let's meet you, Abala Kini Kinshay. We're just going to quickly say this one is a very, very, very funny one, but it's something that I believe that it has both sides to it. There is a lady that came up to fight her friend because she used to date someone that her friend is aware of. So the lady fought her spouse, and then they were no longer dating. So the spouse moved on and then moved to start dating the friend, the close friend that they used to go there together, they used to do things together, that they used to do everything together. That's the person that this person is now dating. The ex is now fighting. Nínú gbogbo ayé ọ̀rẹ́ ni tí o fẹ́ ó jẹ́ ex ni. Ex sọ pé kò sí nǹkan tó kọ ẹni tó bá wọn lóhun lè fẹ́. Ọ̀rẹ́ náà sọ pé ṣebí wọ́n lè sọ pé ó fẹ́ mọ́ òun dẹ̀ fẹ́ ń tòun. So that thing is causing wahala between, and then I don't know. What do you think? Tó bá jẹ́ yín ni ọ̀rẹ́ yẹn, what would you do? What do you think about that incident? You can unmute yourself. You can write up. What do you think? Ọ̀rẹ́ tó fi pé ṣe bó fẹ́ mọ́, ó fẹ́ ò ní dẹ̀mọ̀ èmi dẹ̀ ti ń fẹ́ ń sìn. Kí ni big deal? Somebody said, àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ òfò. Hey, oh yeah, let's bring it on. We're about to round up. We have just about 5-10 minutes to the end of this show tonight. What do you think? On a more serious note, what do you think? Oh, fair no, fair more now. Fair more, fair. Who does who like me? Who didn't fair me? Look, you are my friend. We used to be together. We used to go to visit him together. We used to talk about him together and everything. But now, you fair no. Somebody said, Chef Miss, it's over to you. What do you think? Instagram, where are thou? Everybody's gone quiet on Instagram. So what do you think? YouTube, where are you? What do you think? What do you think about that? What would you do if you were that friend? What do you think? Somebody said, this is so common. Maybe she has been dating him even when he was with a friend. When it is so common. Oh, wow. Maybe she has been dating him even when he was with the friend. Now wow. Somebody said I'm already. Hello, ma'am.
That's exactly what was on my mind, because so much already I was dating the person. Maybe already I had in different states. You come answer a boyfriend makes something more suddenly we want back. Maybe. But it's a young boyfriend. Awaja. You only want kò sí tó lè fi wẹ̀ mọ́, wọ́n ti jọ ṣe papọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. And I'm very sure the cause of our quarrel, máa jẹ́ tètè orí ọ̀rẹ́ yẹn. Maybe the guy has been doing something bad to me. Àwọn obìnrin ẹ̀dọ̀ bàjẹ́.
I don't know that part. Whether I don't know that part, but that's true. That may be true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying if it was a different, but according to what you read out.
Yes.
Benny,
they used to visit the guy together. They were close. Yeah.
If the guy did anything wrong, I would have told my friend, go buy me bola chiffon. So, or they would always start pussy. Even if I say your bad report, so your cause of prayer is not that deep now, you can still forgive and I'm not that pussy. Lie. You are still taking him back. You are still doing this. You should drive him away. Titoria, you're not monitor. When you tell your story to people, you will advice on phone. But you fake back, because most of the times, the people we call our friends, are they actually our friends? I've seen something on social media recently. We misuse that word called friendship. And I want to get used to saying my acquaintance. We give people free friendship name. But lo and behold, wow. So we should normalize calling people our acquaintances. Because to like somebody said on Instagram, it is common nowadays. The truth is they were never our friend in the first place. They don't want you to be in that seat. Ascend your throne. So that person was never a friend.
Somebody said here, ma. Look at what somebody said there. Somebody said, actually, I may not blame the friend though. Okay, somebody now said, is he the only man on earth? The only man remaining on earth? Someone said, things do happen. Somebody said, Adoju tini ore. Let me read. Someone said, Ajeku alajeku. The friend should run away from them both. Okay. èèyàn kan sọ pé that is not a friend, that's not my friend. Okay, ó lé olójú kòkòrò. Use toy mi ló gbà. Wawulet mama. Somebody said use toy mi ló gbà. Somebody said Hollywood Latin re. It will start from a consolation to getting deep. Lord have mercy. Oh God. But we have some situations where some ladies did not treat their boyfriend nice, and the other person is in need of someone. Oh God. Somebody said, my husband will say, what does your friend call you or refer to you outside? Somebody said, Wombiliki wabia, ole, oloju kokoro. Àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ́rùn. I don't even know how to feel, or, I personally do not feel it is right. I always try my best not to reach a verdict on this show. I don't think me more ìfẹ́ tó lè bò mí lójú, àbí irú whatever tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ tó wá jẹ́ pé ọ̀rẹ́ ọkọ mi tó ti fi ọkọ mi tí àbí how do I say it? Ọkọ ọ̀rẹ́ mi, sorry, that's what I want to look for. My friend's husband or my friend's fiancé or boyfriend. Àwọn jẹ́ pé ní gbogbo àgbáláyé. This person was even saying ṣebí fẹ́ mi náà dé fẹ́. She was even saying so. Oh, let's move on now. Ṣebí you say you don't want. I was just like, what? And the guy is also saying, well, if that's the case, can you big deal? I don't personally think that is right, and as that person has said, somebody said on Instagram, she said, we need to run far from that person. Now, talking about someone that says if you did not treat the person well, and then the other person now needs somebody, I don't think that is a good enough excuse. Why is suddenly, for them to be boyfriend and girlfriend at one point, oh man, but she didn't treat around. Why suddenly could treat her well? Whatever me treat her well, he's not treating me well. He could treat her well. Don't worry, I will treat you better. I don't think that is good enough excuse for you to go ahead and be your spouse's your friend's ex. I don't think it is wrong. Amudo lolo. My husband will say that what does your friend call you or refer to you outside? Okay. Somebody says, so when I said maybe also somebody said, are you Red Cross? Let us call a spade. Come on, Penny, farming tool or gardening instrument or something. Until da. Olórin gangan tẹ̀ ti fi kọrin. Ìyẹn bí ìgbà tó bá gbọ́kọ ọ̀rẹ́ ẹni. Who even knows, like somebody said, bóyá reason tí ọkọ ẹ̀gbọ́n ṣe fi ẹ́lẹ̀ nítorí ẹni yìí ni. Wọ́n lè lóhun tí ó dá agbọ́kọ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ ojú ló ń dá tì mí. Ó ń bani lórúkọ jẹ́, ohun tí ó dá máa gba ìyàwó rẹ̀ ojú ló ń dá tì mí. Ó ń bani lórúkọ jẹ́, ohun tí ó dá. Ọkùnrin pọ̀ láyé, ọkùnrin pọ̀ láyé. Kò ṣe bí nǹkan dọ́kọ sí lọ́yẹ̀ kí wọ́n náà wá lọ padà yan àlè sí. It is not right. And I hope that people will learn this. Nowadays, people have turned abnormality to normal. They just make it look like, what's the big deal? They now normalize evil. They normalize what is bad. Now, let's talk about the lady herself, the one whose husband went to this woman. Now she's fighting. Is she supposed to fight, or she should just walk away? Let's talk about it, because it is Abalaki Nikinshe. Is she supposed to fight, or she should just walk away, or stay in a distance and looking at them and saying, Emma, we're all right? What is she supposed to do? Let's talk about that. So I will close in the next 2-3 minutes. We've had a fantastic time tonight. What should she do? You can unmute yourself. The wife or the main lady, I don't know whether wife or fiancé. What is she supposed to do? Ṣó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti jà? Ṣó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ yẹn pé kọ́tọ́ ṣe ò dáa? Ma.
The main kilo fẹ́ she should just go far away from both of them. Because number one, ọkọ tó fẹ́ olóòórùn ni onídọ̀tí. Because ọkọ èèyàn tó lọ ń bá ọ̀rẹ́ èèyàn ó fi wá di pé tí wọ́n fẹ́ra yín nílẹ̀ olóbó rẹ̀ ni. Obviously, need dignity. You don't have oh, you
Self-esteem.
don't deserve oh, no self-control, oh, self-esteem, oh, everything is wrong about you. Then as of already, Papa, it's my way, toilet so just you don't get to be a shower, not wait to be a one about my dog. And you have white on, you don't want them to stay in your white because oh shit, exactly. People usually do not see the beginning of wahala to create. But it is when you react, especially in this day and age, social media, necessarily recording, either alone channel or send the voice message in you. To crop voice message if you to party so pé agabi kini ko ma share one your tagabi en kúrò kini ko ma share en gogo na mama gbe
wọ́n ló ń ṣe pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
want to rubbish you just like team Green and team Pinky some time ago. So the best thing is for one sit down the look waka pass thrive do your thing excel in whatever you're doing and raise your head up, your shoulders high, and the Lord has got your back as the woman.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Somebody says she doesn't have to fight. She should just stay away. On Instagram, someone said, walk away from both Joe. Walk away from both of them, Joe. Somebody said, we watch films on Hollywood. I can't remember the title. That was what happened, but no one blamed the other lady. It is well, she should just walk away. They are not worth it. No, I think I know the movie you're talking about, but those ones, see dates any. I think I know that movie. The lady, the guy was asking her out. She has not dated the guy. The guy was begging her. I know that movie. The lady has not accepted. The first lady has not accepted. I think it was Mayday and Messi Johnson, if you are talking about the same movie. The guy was asking the lady, if you make life tough. So, ask her out. That was even a different case entirely. But they didn't want to infer. I want to jump on there.
One thing I want to say, maybe let us all understand that Uti Chapo, Uti Baji, Uti Yama. Ẹni tó ṣe àìdá gbogbo làwọn èèyàn máa sábà
support bẹ́ẹ̀ni so common.
Ahead mo máa behave rẹ̀ bá fọwọ́ ara wọn ṣe ra wọn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni you are so correct. That's exactly why one has to be careful these days. Instead of you going to fight, just leave them, because Osini generation power, they always support evil, they support bad things. So that's true. You are right, man. Thank you for saying that. So, and then somebody said just walk away from both of them. Somebody says goodbye to Jati. Somebody said Olorun ẹ kú ẹ̀sìn. Somebody said bye to Rede lórúkọ Jésù. Bye to Rede. Okay, Ruth Kadiri, maybe it's another movie. And then if the man loved her, he wouldn't have left her for the friend. So there was no love in the first place. Ruth Kadiri, okay, maybe it's another movie. Anyway, personally, I won't do that. Because what she for me, okay, I don't told you if I'm not treating my spouse right, you are not the right person to come and help me to treat him. Because I've heard where somebody was saying, you end up in the person's arm, you end up in the man's arm, all in the name of one leg. I don't understand the definition of one leg. Anyway, whatever the case may be, there has been something behind Dr. John Popo. And that's why women, we have to be careful. We have to be careful who we trust. We have to be careful who we talk to. We have to be careful who we rely on. The people that you go and tell your weakness, they will use it against you. They will use it to penetrate. They will use it to enter into your middle. Well, one thing that I know in this life is still about the Lord do. Ọjọ́ kan báyìí wọ́n lò títọ́ ló máa bá ẹni burú mọ̀ ìwọ tó ṣe rere ó mọ̀. Olórin sọ pé ẹni ń ṣeré kó múra síre, ẹni bá ṣe kà kó máa ṣe, lọ́jọ́ kan oore á kò níre, ìkà kẹ́ni ṣe ìkà o. Whatever you know how to do, keep doing it. Ọjọ́ kan Ọlọ́run máa dé gbogbo wa sí, we will reap the fruit of our labours. Kọ́lọ́run má jẹ́ àṣìṣe, I just want to say big thank you to everybody for yet another beautiful and awesome edition of our favorite show tonight again, ETO IGBEYAWO. Thank you so much for always. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó bá wa dá sétò. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ aráalé, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀rọ, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó ṣagbátẹrù ètò yìí. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa ń sọ fún wa ní ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ wípé ó máa ń wù ní ká jẹran pẹ́lẹ́nu. Àmọ́ ohun fàánà fún yìí náà ni kì í gbà fún wa. Àmọ́ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá náà ni wọ́n sọ wípé kì í dùn kó pọ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni kì í pọ̀ kó dùn. Ṣókí báyìí òun ni ọbẹ̀ oge. Àmọ́ ó fún wa sọ fún wa lẹ́nu wípé èmi Olúwabùnmi Aya Òṣìbẹ̀rù lílọ ni mo tuntun ti ń lọ yìí. Mo gbà ní àdúrà lọ́lá Ọlọ́run wípé ogun ó lọ kò dé kò ní bá mi, ó dé kò bá wọn kò ní jẹ́ tiyín. Mo gbàdúrà pé ayọ̀, ìdùnnú, àlàáfíà àti ìfọkànbalẹ̀ tí mo fi wá sílé ni òun náà ni màá tún padà wá bá gbogbo wa lọ́jọ́ mẹ́jọ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n á sọ fún wa wípé láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o, mo ní láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Ẹ̀yin ò ní forí gún, èmi ò ní fẹsẹ̀ kọ o. Mọ́tò yòówù ká lè wọ̀ kò ní forí sọ̀gì o. Láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé, láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week by the special grace of God. God bless you. Bye. Hey.
Let's go traditional wedding. Gbogbo lólùfẹ́ rẹ̀ ń retí rẹ̀.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's go traditional wedding.
Ẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi many gives away.
Let's go traditional wedding.
Kí lorúkọ ètò náà?
Let's go traditional wedding. ETO IGBEYAWO tó kọ́ ni lọ́gbọ́n. Let's go traditional wedding.
Ṣètìgbọ́ ètò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ traditional wedding tó lọ lọ́wọ́. Ó yá give them láyọ̀.
Let's go traditional wedding. ETO IGBEYAWO tó kọ́ ni lọ́gbọ́n. Let's go traditional wedding. Every Tuesday on Instagram, every Tuesday on Facebook, 6 p.m. UK time. Every Tuesday on Facebook. ETO IGBEYAWO tó fún mi lóye. Let's go traditional wedding. ETO IGBEYAWO tó fún mi lóye. Let's go.
Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week by the special grace of God. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.